you, O Lord, are a shield around me. You are my glory, the one who holds my head high. I cried out to the Lord, and He answered me from His holy mountain. I lay down and slept, yet I woke up in safety, for the Lord was watching over me. I am not afraid of 10,000 enemies who surround me on every side. Arise, O Lord, rescue me, my God. Slap all my enemies in the face. Shatter the teeth of the wicked. Victory comes from you, oh Lord. May you bless your people.
These are the Proverbs of Solomon, David's son, King of Israel. Their purpose is to teach people wisdom and discipline, to help them understand the insights of the wise. The purpose is to teach people to live disciplined and successful lives, to help them do what is right, just and fair. These proverbs will give insight to the simple, knowledge and discernment to the young. Let the wise listen to these proverbs and become even wiser. Let those with understanding receive guidance by exploring the meaning in these proverbs and parables. The words of the wise and their riddles. Fear of the Lord is the foundation of true knowledge, but fools despise wisdom and discipline. My child, listen when your father corrects you. Don't neglect your mother's instruction. What you learn from them will crown you with grace and be a chain of honor around your neck. My child, if sins entice you, turn your back on them. They may say, come and join us. Let's hide and kill someone just for fun. Let's ambush the innocent. Let's swallow them alive like the grave. Let's swallow them whole like those who go down to the pit of death. Think of the great things we'll get. We'll fill our houses with all the stuff we take. Come throw in your line with us. We'll all share the loot. My child, don't go along with them. Stay far away from the paths. They rush to commit evil deeds. They hurry to commit murder. If a bird sees a trap being set, it knows to stay away. But these people set an ambush for themselves. They are trying to get themselves killed. Such is the fate of all who are greedy for money. It robs them alive. Wisdom shouts in the street. She cries out in the public square. She calls to the crowds along the main street, to those gathered in front of the city gate. How long, you simpletons, will you insist on being simple-minded? How long will you mockers relish your mocking? How long will you fools hate knowledge? Come and listen to my counsel. I'll share my heart with you and make you wise. Called you so often, but you wouldn't come. I reached out to you, but you paid no attention. You ignored my advice and rejected the correction I offered. So I will laugh when you are in trouble. I will mock you when disaster overtakes you. When calamity overtakes you like a storm. When disaster engulfs you like a cyclone. And anguish and distress overwhelm you. When they cry for help, I will not answer. Though they anxiously search for me, they will not find me. For they hated knowledge and chose not to fear the Lord. They rejected my advice and paid no attention when I corrected them. Therefore they must eat the bitter fruit of living their own way, choking on their own schemes. For simpletons turn away from me to death. Fools are destroyed by their own complacency, but all who listen to me will live in peace, untroubled by fear of harm.
Oh, I'm here. Hey, I'm here. Wait. Oh, wait. That was the wrong button. Where am I? There I am. You guys. I feel backwards. Wait. No, that's right. I feel weird. I'm not used to seeing my part like that. Whatever. Anyways, hey, you guys, you're not going to believe this. Got a lot of good stuff. I'm telling you, it's been chaotic here in Minnesota, in case you haven't heard. You know, I didn't even know where to start. I started writing stuff down. Okay, so get this. This happened today. I'm going to tell you what happened today that I seen. I've only been off work for a few hours, so trying to do some catch up here. But Minnesota officials actually came out and were doing a thing on Channel 5. Basically, Channel 5 was streaming it. And basically they were having their little meeting or whatever, right? Funny shit, I'm telling you, they couldn't even find it in the decency to actually show up in the same office. I think everybody's working from home still. We're going to kind of take a little bit of a look at that Minnesota state worker policy probably at the beginning here, and I'll show you that. I'm just going to show you a little bit of that video, and then you can make your own decisions about that. And then we've got, this guy. Oh my God, we got demons. We got demons in Minnesota. This is what I'm calling it. They're demons. They're all demons. Okay, you guys, you got to check this out. I got it on video. Okay, and I also, you know, I actually have a new. Well, it's not a new painting. It's an old painting that I actually finished. It was really weird because I had this painting and I finished it on September 9th. I went back and looked at the date because I remember it very specifically because it was right before Charlie Turk died. And I remember going, God, I got to get this painting out. I got to get this painting out. It was the day before he died. And I was telling my friend about it. I was like, gosh, you know, I got to, just something about it. There's something about this nose. I got to focus on this. And I spent hours finishing it. I mean, it may not have seemed like I was a couple of hours because it was like one of those quick paintings that I sometimes I feel like prompted to just do. I'm going to show you that video. I actually wasn't at home when I did it. And so I was videotaping it on my cell phone, and I just put all the clips that I could get together. Usually when I'm doing paintings like that, I don't even have a chance to turn the camera on because I'm just so into like, I gotta get this out. And it's super weird, but you'll see it and you might think, wow, because I certainly did, because I just remember focusing on the nose. And when you see it, you'll be like, oh yeah. Anyways, that one's going to be for Erica Kirk. I hope that it gives her some sort of peace. And also it's going to, you know, it really gave me, you know, it's like that Charlie Kirk kind of a speaking painting to me, because the other day, it was a couple days ago that I actually was looking at the painting and I was like, I wonder if I should fine tune this stuff because it's really rough. And it was just like, no, just leave it for right now. It just leave it. And I mean, as an artist, nothing's ever done. I could always add more. I could always do more or something new to it, and that's just the way it is. But this one was so intriguing, and I put some music to it, and I put some thoughts to it about what's really happening here, and I kind of wanted to associate that with, the demonic stuff that I'm seeing here in Minneapolis. And I started to think to myself, what would Charlie Kirk do? What would he do? What would he do in that situation? If he was here now, what would he say? What would he do? What would he be thinking? That kind of a thing. And I know what I'm thinking, and I know what I'm feeling in the spirit. And so I think that a lot of people in Minnesota are doing it, and I know what we can do to overcome the evil. Okay, so we're going to do that later. No joke. You remember Rick Renner? Remember we did that whole series on Rick Renner and the Noah's Ark thing? Well, you're not going to believe this. He's doing an end times thing right now. It's a 10-part series. He says he's got 8 parts of it done. We might look at the first one. It's about like 20 minutes. I think we might do that too, because why not? Good stuff. I'm telling you, he's like one of the best if you get a chance to listen to him, because he talks about the original Greek New Testament, the way that it was originally written. And so he really helps you to understand the Greek language when reading that portion of the Bible. So definitely we'll take a look at that. It's something, hopefully Pablo is around, because isn't he Greek? Maybe he can tell us if it's right, huh? Does he even speak Greek? I don't know. We'll see. Anyways, and then I seen this. Oh my God, you guys, I made this. You guys got to see this.
This looks like somebody that's trying to get out of there. If doing a 3-point turn or a 4-point turn is a domestic terrorist, then my wife is a criminal every single day.
The wife of Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Fry has a direct tie to the $9 billion Somali migrant fraud through the Feeding Our Future scheme.
Okay. Yeah. You like that one? Cute, huh? Yeah. There's more. There's so much more. And then what else do we got? Oh, yeah. We're going to talk about that citizen journalist, Mercado Media. And he is totally anti-ICE. And I can prove that. And I think that he's part of this. In my opinion, he's an anarchist, Antifa-ist, whatever he is. He is anti-ICE. And he claims that he's not biased and he's just recording it and he's just there to be media. He's full of shit. Okay, I can prove it. And we're going to, just in case anybody out there, any Fed ever wants to see, I occasionally they check up on me, it is what it is being a J6er. Anyway, moving on. Let's see what else. Oh, I already talked about Rick Renner thing. So where do we start? Do we start with yesterday or do we start with today? Oh, we're going to start with the Minnesota. Get this part. You guys, this is so stupid. This broad. These people. They think they're fooling us, by the way. It's ridiculous. Let me share my Chrome tab. I got to find the right one. Here it is. These guys. Yes, clown show. This clown show right here. Hold on. Oh, did that not work? Oh, okay. There. Check this clown show out. Is that not on there? What in the world? Is the video not sharing? No. Hold on. Oh, shoot. I just removed the wrong one. Okay. I removed the wrong one, and I don't know what I just removed. So I'm kind of bummed. I'll look for that. Check this out. Check this lady out.
Another 123,000 are people with disabilities. I mention this because I know more than 1 million people. Another 123,000 are people with disabilities. I mention this because I know more than 1 million people are depending on us to address the issue of fraud in our Medicaid system and to protect the services they rely on. The state of Minnesota and Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services have always been partners in providing Medicaid services to keep the elderly in their homes longer, to help children with autism, and ensure people with disabilities, mental health diagnoses, and substance use disorders can receive the care and support they need. DHS has a long history of investigating fraud and taking action. And this last year, we have significantly accelerated our efforts to both fight fraud and enhance program integrity on the front end to prevent fraud. Working with CMS in the past several weeks, we have developed a corrective action plan to address fraud and program integrity.
You gotta hear this part.
We agreed with their recommended actions and have begun work to implement them. In fact, many of the actions are in line with the work we have been doing this past year.
Okay, I gotta stop it right there. Then what makes you think anything's gonna change if it's basically everything you've been implementing in the past year? Are you joking with me? I think she's joking. She must be joking, right? She's joking, right? She's joking. She's joking.
And some expand upon them. Unfortunately, CMS's recent decision to withhold Medicaid funds is putting the people whom both agencies are sworn to serve at risk. Minnesota cannot absorb the loss of more than $2 billion in annual funding for these programs without catastrophic consequences for the people we serve. This is unprecedented. We can't find another example of CMS taking this kind of action in any other state. It's not corrective.
I just want to point out the fact that you got everybody here on a Zoom call and this is their meeting. They can't even come together. They can't even come together in the same room. They are all working from home. So you're not going to believe what I decided I was going to do. I was going to look up exactly. Let me see if we can pull this up into my front. Oh, that's not what I want. Let's do this so that I can see. We're going to share this tab instead. Frequently asked questions. Telework frequently asked questions. This is the management and budget committees. Okay, they're not committees. HR memo. This is their department. Oh, hold on. Wait, what do we got? This. Hold on. Let's start with this one, the NPR News. Okay, we got that right. I'm on the right. Oh crap! I don't even know if I have my StreamYard. Yeah. Okay, so we've got this. I'm gonna pull that over there so I can see better. Okay, we've got there we go. As return to office policy approaches, this is April 30th of last year, so not even a year ago. They decided they were going to come back to work and they complained. Oh, they were so mad. All these workers were pissed that they had to come to the office. So Walz back down again to the state workers. They got the union involved and all this stuff. All of a sudden, the union's fighting for them to stay home and work. Don't get me started. Okay, so here we go. Changes have been made to a new state remote work policy that begins in a little more than a month. The revisions detailed in a memo this week would give employees who live further from the job locations more flexibility than earlier policy. Never mind that they have $1 million offices in St. Paul. Apparently, they don't have to come to work. They can just do from home. Okay. And now, oh my God. So beginning June 1st, most state employees will be expected to spend more time in the office. At least half of their time would be in person. It's a change to expansive pandemic era telework accommodations. And the callback has met opposition from key labor unions. they must be getting a cut. Obviously, they probably got to raise their, I don't know why. Because they do support the lazy. I noticed that the unions will protect the lazy as well as the hard worker, but they will protect the lazy. And if you've ever been in a union, you know exactly what I mean. In a recent change, the the Department of Minnesota Management and Budget relaxed its initial policy slightly. The policy now says people living more than 50 miles from their primary work site will have more latitude to seek telework allowances. Originally, it was a 75-mile rate. 75 miles. I'm curious to see statistically how many of these people moved after they got their job and got switched to telework after the whole COVID thing and decided, I'm just going to move. I can work remotely. That's how this happened. That's how fraud happened. Okay? Telework. Right now they did. Wait a second. Were these people that were doing the compliance and auditing, were they on telework too? Were they doing work from home? Were they just having a Zoom meeting? I'm curious now. Now I have questions. I'm kind of curious about this. Anyway, let's move on. An MMB spokesperson said the change grew out of feedback and loud criticism received from state workers in response to the initial plan, of having to come back to work? Didn't they work in the office before this, prior to this? I don't, you know what I mean? Should I be concerned as a Minnesotan? Yes, I should. Okay. There was concern about commuting and about some employees being able to arrange childcare on short notice. What'd you do before that? What did you people do before that? What? Apparently the workers run the companies now instead of the company running the company. Is that how it's working? Because that's destined to fail. I'm just saying, not going to work. Okay. Oh my God. DFL Governor Tim Walz has said he was willing to work with employees to make the shift less disruptive. Well, God forbid they actually have to have some responsibility and go to work and actually drive there like everybody in every other generation before them. My God, I'm working in you guys, this is a parallel universe in Minnesota. I just want you to know that. Okay. They don't get it. They don't get it. I can't do it. I don't know. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? Oh, you can't make this shit up. I'm serious. You can't even make it up. Oh, okay. Anyways, but he has argued the return to office directive was necessary for collaboration and to match what many private sector employers are doing. Wells said that the change wasn't a result of a direct formal negotiation. These were things that people were bringing up and talking about, so we're hearing them on this. Wells told reporters on Wednesday, this was a while ago, obviously last year, we've always been on the side of making sure that we value this workforce. Yeah, basically, look at Local 563 union. That's Greater Minnesota. That's the outskirts. That's people who bought some land in some country town and they're making bank. They don't have to commute. Whereas the rest of us, oh God, we got parking fees, we got gas, we got childcare, we get, whatever. whatever your thing is, traffic, yeah. They're entitled. Entitled. Megan Dayton, president of the Minnesota, she any relation to Mark Dayton? I don't know. President of the Minnesota Association of Professional Employees. Professional employees. Okay. I get what they mean, but it means so much more. Said in a union leadership isn't offering detailed comment given that contract negotiations have begun. She defended the use of telework as meeting modern workforce realities. Look at where modern workforce realities got Minnesota. No accountability. No daily accountability. You know what? We're just going to stop right there. No accountability to the state of Minnesota, the constituents of Minnesota, every person that pays taxes in Minnesota. Not everybody that receives funds. I'm talking about everybody that pays friggin' employment taxes in Minnesota. They think we're stupid. That's what's going on here. They think we're stupid. I think they think we're stupid, but I'm not sure. I got more. Anyways, look, this is their. Oh, here we go. Let's pull this one up. Here's the objective. Look at how many times it was been revised. Okay, it was first issued. Wait, what? 7/197. It was revised in 2015. It revised 1/21/2020. Okay, and then every so many months after that, and then it goes on to it stayed the same since 2023. The objective to provide state agency employees flexible work environment arrangements consistent with business needs as part of a strategy to attract and retain a highly qualified and skilled workforce. Well, I'm going to go ahead and say, no, they ain't, because look at what they freaking did to Minnesota. This is a recipe for disaster. I think we need to petition that they come back to work full time until this fraud is taken care of, because they're all on the take. If this is the case, are we paying for everybody's internet? Everybody who does telework, are we paying for everybody's internet? I mean, I'm not sure. Let's go and look. We can look at that. Let's take a peek. Oh, you guys. You just gotta laugh at the stuff because I know. I think so too, Fat Jimmy. I agree with you, Fat Jimmy. The big F word. Anyways, are you hearing this? What do you think about that, Fat Jimmy? The fact that these state workers that all this fraud happened around, especially the last few years, they ain't even at work. They couldn't even come to work for the conference. They were all on a conference call, and more than half didn't even turn their freaking camera on. Why? Because they ain't at home. They are not at home. Are you kidding me? These people. It pisses you off. You've been gone 3 years, but I was being taxed for all this bullshit. You know what? Bro, I'm still here. I claimed 12 and they're still freaking taxing me. I'm just going to change it back because it did nothing. And at least I can say, well, I claimed 12, nothing happened. So I just went back to claiming 0. Seriously, like it was like $10 difference. I was pissed. But then that does mean, though, they didn't take out that extra 20. So basically it probably was like $35 more out of my check or less. Yeah. Stupid. Anyways, yes, they do want to tax me for breathing. You're right. Anyways, allowing employees, this is provide state employee. Oh God. Telework provides a broad array of benefits to state agencies and their employees, including allowing employees flexibility to perform work from an approved alternative work site while delivering quality services to me. They could go to Caribou and just work out of Caribou all day. Is that what you're saying? Okay. Supporting continuity continuity of operations, including during health and safety situations impacting agencies' workforces. Well, I'm sure the bird flu's making a comeback now. And they'll all have to run screaming with their hands in the air. You guys, demons have taken over the Twin Cities. Demons have taken over Minnesota. This is a problem. We need to pray. Anyways, reducing the need for office space and parking. You still own the state buildings now, don't you? And aren't they building more? Yes, they are. It gets worse, you guys. You know, it's so hard. It's so hard not to be mad. It just like it but and then people, you'll be surprised. I wish I could record some of the things I hear all day long. People on the left are nuts. They are still backing Governor Walz. They think he's done nothing wrong. They're just defending the illegals, rapists, murderers. Dude, even my own family does this to me. You know that, right? They literally think that because I have Mexican heritage that I should be against all ICE, because this is how racist my family can be, is that they think that I need to support every single Mexican there is. You know, we're blood, maybe. I don't know what they're thinking. I really don't know. You know, all I can say is my great-grandfather paid to become an American citizen back in the 1800s. So there's that. There's that. Yeah. That's a long time ago. That's like 4 generations. In Minnesota. So, you know what? I'm indigenous. Anyways, minimizing impact to the environment. Oh, geez. Here we go. Oh, my God. I got to just keep going, Gina. Attracting and retaining skilled workers from throughout the state and region. Yeah, no K. All right. Policy statement. State agency employees have the option to telework up to 50% of their scheduled work days each month at the discretion of the appointing authority of their performance is at least satisfactory, and if it meets agency business needs. Well, none of them are meeting that satisfactory portion. So I think everybody just needs to come back to work 100% of the time in Minnesota. If they do not, we have problems. You know what? I think that's where, in good faith, that the state workers and all of anybody that is in the Minnesota government, that in good faith, that would help. That will help us. And I don't care what your fucking childcare needs are, motherfuckers. You know what? I worked opposite shifts to my husband so that we had income, dual income, although we had to work separate shifts because I wasn't paying nobody to raise my kids. I wasn't going to pay a daycare worker to raise my kids. That's just negligence. You shouldn't have kids. You know what? I'm sorry. That's just how I personally feel. I didn't go to daycare. I mean, actually, I think my mom did that once for like a few weeks. And the same thing with me. I had my kids in daycare for not even 2 weeks. I couldn't deal with it. I was like, nope, I'm done. Nope, we're not doing this. And I just said, we're working opposite shifts. I do not care. I'm not leaving my children with strangers ever again. And I'm glad. And my kids are so good. My adult children are good. And their kids are good. And I'm so grateful. So anyways, this is the ridiculousness that we are seeing here in Minnesota. All right, let me get my other stuff over here, you guys, because I've got some videos that I wanted to actually show you from the past few days. Actually, I'm going to show you this one video, and please be warned if you are susceptible to what's the word I'm looking for? Social learning. Maybe you shouldn't watch this because you'll be like, oh, I should do that. No, don't. And in fact, after I play this, I'm going to play that painting that really ministered to me about what's happening here in Minnesota and what we need to do. Maybe I shouldn't play it yet. Yeah, we're gonna do it. We're doing it because then after that, we're gonna do. I'm gonna probably lambaste this Mercado Media. It is what it is. He is just a cuckoo bastard. And the last 2 days, he goes around. He claims that he is not biased or whatever. That he's trying to remain neutral when he's recording. No, he ain't. It's all over his freaking media. No, he ain't. And you know what? I'm gonna point out all of his, well, as many as I can, traffic violations and everything that he's doing illegally. So we got that coming up next too. But let's just have a peek at this one. This is ridiculous.
Acting fucking fools, man. They're shooting people that are not doing anything. They're just standing in the fucking street, or they're standing on the sidewalk, and they just come up and start shooting us. I've been shot 4 times already with pepper balls. And fuck every one of these fascists. You guys need to get your asses out here and stand up for your fucking communities. This is bullshit. Fuck Trump. Fuck every single one of these neo-Nazi motherfuckers.
Absolutely. Thank you, Echo. Thank you for your time, buddy.
You should quit your jobs. Quit your jobs.
You should got a lot of veterans out here, you guys.
You should quit your jobs.
Got a lot of vets out here.
You should quit your job. Quit your fucking job.
It's getting chilly as it's windy. It's getting windy chilly. Hope everyone layered up pretty good. Hold on.
Let me tell you why. Because you're a demon and we don't want to be possessed by demons because we're Christian. You know, a lot of these people that are coming to Minnesota, same thing like with the George Floyd thing, they're coming and they're just waiting for the opportunity to light shit on fire. You think I'm kidding? I ain't. Anyways, so I was passing by the painting that I did last September, and I was like, all of a sudden it spoke to me. I mean, like in my spirit, and I was like, oh my God, I gotta put this out. So I made a song. The first part's kind of but you know what? I hope you like it. I hope it resonates. Anyways, this is about 8 minutes and 44 seconds. For this painting, but it also has a story that's going with it, and it helps, and it's kind of a way for me to explain what I see and how I feel like the Lord's kind of showing me how to respond. Here you go.
After a lot of silence and prayer, I realized what Yahweh was showing me. It's not an invasion of people, it's an invasion of demons, and they have settled right here in Minneapolis and the surrounding communities. If you slow down a minute and just listen and observe, you'll see it. The demons. The only way to fight this is with prayer, and fervent prayer. In fact, I'm gonna go so far as to say we need to do prayer and fasting for these types of demons. And I think I can prove it with God's word. It's in the book of Mark, it's in chapter 9. When Jesus heals a demon-possessed boy. When they returned to the other disciples, they saw a large crowd surrounding them, and some teachers of religious law were arguing with them. When the crowd saw Jesus, they were overwhelmed with awe, and they ran to greet him. What is all this arguing about? Jesus asked. One of the men in the crowd spoke up and said, Teacher, I brought my son so you could heal him. He is possessed by an evil spirit that won't let him talk, and whenever the spirit sees him, it throws him violently to the ground. Then he foams at the mouth and grinds his teeth and becomes rigid. So I asked the disciples to cast out the evil spirit, but they couldn't do it. Jesus said to them, you faithless people, how long must I be with you? How long must I put up with you? Bring the boy to me. So they brought the boy, but when the evil spirit saw Jesus, it threw the child into a violent convulsion, and he fell to the ground, writhing and foaming at the mouth. How long has this been happening? Jesus asked the boy's father. He replied, since he was a little boy. The spirit often throws him into the fire or into water, trying to kill him. Have mercy on us and help us if you can. What do you mean if I can? Jesus asked. Anything is possible if a person believes. The father instantly cried out, I do believe, but help me overcome my unbelief. Jesus saw that the crowd of onlookers was growing. He rebuked the evil spirit. Listen, you spirit that makes this boy unable to hear and speak. He said, I command you to come out of this child and never enter him again. Then the spirit screamed and threw the boy into another violent convulsion and left him. The boy appeared to be dead. A murmur ran through the crowd as people said, he's dead. But Jesus took him by the hand and helped him to his feet, and he stood up afterward. When Jesus was alone in the house with his disciples, they asked him, why couldn't we cast out that evil spirit? Jesus replied, this kind can be cast out only by prayer. Not only did the book of Mark talk about it, the disciple Matthew wrote about it as well. This version was from the New King James. Most of us would remember this story from our youth. We all went to Sunday school, but somehow that's all changed. Proverbs says, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. I'm hoping it rings a bell in the hearts of those who hear it. This is how Matthew tells the story.
And when they had come to the multitude, a man came to him, kneeling down to him and saying, Lord, have mercy on my son, for he is an epileptic and suffers severely, for he often falls into the fire and often into the water. So I brought him to your disciples, but they could not cure him. Then Jesus answered and said, oh faithless and perverse generation, how long shall I be with you? How long shall I bear with you? Bring him here to me. And Jesus rebuked the demon, and it came out of him, and the child was cured from that very hour.
Then the disciples came to Jesus privately and said, why could we not cast it out?
mountain, move from here to there, and it will move, and nothing will be impossible for you.
However, this kind does not go out except by prayer and fasting.
But wait, there's more. Not only in the books of Matthew and Mark, Luke tells of this same event at the same point in time. Remember, Luke was a Gentile believer, a physician and historian who traveled with the Apostle Paul. Luke wrote both the Book of Luke and the Book of Acts. This was his version. The next day, after they had come down the mountain, a large crowd met Jesus. A man in the crowd called out to him, "Teacher, I beg you to look at my son. My only child, an evil spirit, keeps seizing him, making him scream and throws him into convulsions, so that he foams at the mouth. It batters him and hardly ever leaves him alone. I begged your disciples to cast out the spirit, but they couldn't do it." Jesus said, "You faithless and corrupt people, how long must I be with you and put up with you?" Then he said to the man, "Bring your son here." As the boy came forward, the demon knocked him to the ground and threw him into a violent convulsion. But Jesus rebuked the evil spirit and healed the boy. Then he gave him back to his father. Awe gripped the people as they saw this majestic display of God's power.
So, I'm a little down here. Hey, listen, I hope you enjoyed that, because I hope it ministered to you, because it really ministered to me when I was reading those, and I was like, whenever I come up against a problem, I go straight to the Lord's word and God's word, and I go, where can I find something similar inside the book? I call it the book. Okay. It's in the book. So anyways, I was like, how do we fight against possessive demons that are possessive? Because I kid you not, you guys, the other day I was laying down and I was sleeping, and I felt this, like something was tapping me on my temple, and it was like a spirit felt like it was trying to get into my body. It was so weird. And it was the weirdest thing ever. And it's weird because it actually played a part in this video, or that video you just seen, and in the painting and all of this, that just kind of helped me to understand that, yes, even in the Bible, it talks about being demon possessed. And remember when the guy was demon possessed, and there was a legion of demons inside of him, and the legion of demons begged to go into the pigs. They didn't want, anywhere else to not go. I don't have time to go into all that stuff, but rest assured, we're going to be covering a lot of this over the next few weeks, because Pastor Rick Renner actually talks about this kind of stuff. And you know what? When he showed us that stuff about the Noah's Ark and all that stuff, it was the very same thing. There's other things too that have been coming out today. They were talking about birth control and whether or not it's legal to even prescribe that to people without being in person and seeing an actual doctor physically. They're just prescribing it telehealth kind of a thing. And the issue that I have with that is that in the book of Enoch, not a book that is in the King James. Well, actually, I don't want to say it's not in the King James version of the Bible. I think it was, I forget what the Bible was called, but in earlier versions before 1660, the book of Enoch was in part of the biblical text, but it wasn't after that. They took several of the apocryphal books out. And I understand why is it was to try to not confuse the Christian. And it was meant for, I think, people that are more schooled. I think that's how the church looked at it. And so they were additional historical texts or been made to portray a historical record. And it's very good. But in the book of Enoch, it actually talks about when the angels fell, they actually, mated with the women, and then they created demon children, basically. And they were so wicked that they showed the people how to give women an herb or something to drink, whatever, to have miscarriages or to not have to make them. Basically, it was birth control back then, and how it detested, like God detested it. It talked about this. And so every time I hear about that, morning after pill, I think about that. I think about, wow, back then, God was pretty pissed off about it. Giving women a specific drink so that they wouldn't conceive. And men desired those women because they could spew their seed in them over and over again, and they wouldn't get pregnant. And that was their thing. They were perverse. They just wanted to they wanted to spread that shit around. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, I got so much to say, you guys. Don't judge me. Just love me, okay? I'm telling you guys this because this is what I'm getting in the spirit. I want to share it with you, and I hope that you get a chance to, explore that yourself. Every day I've been praying for Minnesota and praying that, I've been praying my favorite song, Psalm 3. We will probably play that like 5 times tonight. Just kidding. But I do love it. It is a good jam. It's a good jam. So we might play that here in a second, Oh Lord, I have so many enemies. So many are against me. That song. They're saying God will never rescue her. Whatever. Anyways, it's a good one. We'll play that again in a little bit. Okay, so let's go with. Let's see what happened yesterday. Let's just play a few clips of what happened yesterday. Okay, you guys. I got about 5, 6, 7 minutes worth of stuff here we got to get through for yesterday. And this Mercado Media guy who is going around the Twin Cities. He started out with his little iPhone, and you know what? Wait a second. We are going to play, you guys, I think I played this for you once in one of the past streams, just to introduce you to my arch nemesis. This guy pisses me off because he's acting like he's all high and mighty because he was in the armed forces at one point, but he's just nothing but a fucking huge lefty and needs to freaking be put out of his fucking misery and get his camera taken away. I mean that in the most honest sense. I don't want any harm to come to the man, just so you know, but what I said, I just mean somebody needs to take his camera, and guarantee you it will get confiscated at some point in time by ICE. Guaranteed. And so let's just share this tab here. Oh, wait. This is it? Yeah, this is it. This guy. Listen to this. Listen how they boast about this guy. This is WCCO, the most corrupt local news station in Minnesota. And prove me wrong.
Watching as a citizen journalist was one of the first on the scene. Our Adam Duxter introduces us to the man behind the camera and how he's using Operation Metro Surge to grow a journalism operation of his own.
I've been telling my photojournalist, can I get the pictures by like 7 o'clock?
To anyone else, it's a truck.
If we're roving, we can at least, we're moving and we can get to the scene.
Yeah, but to Andrew Mercado, it
doesn't
a home
mean gay
office.
either.
And it's truly like we're on call. That's why this is the style of for this story, how we're able to cover it.
And while it might not look like it,
we bumped up to 41 on Twitch.
He's working during our Tuesday morning interview.
Looking at chat, just reading what they're saying.
And his followers,
660 right now on YouTube.
What are they saying?
They're saying hi to you guys. They're waving.
Are watching live. Over 100,000 people follow him on Facebook.
What is seen here?
Nearly another 100,000 on YouTube. For the Army veteran in Twin Cities native, it's a career that's happened almost on accident.
When George Floyd was murdered in 2020, I was tired of watching it from TV. I wanted to go out there and see it for myself. And I went live on Facebook and it went very viral. It was 60,000 people concurrently were watching. It had like 7 million views at the end of the stream. So I went for, that was right away.
Mercado has since covered protests around the country and war around the world, all from his iPhone.
They're trying to take 2 workers.
This month,
This whole time, he couldn't afford a fucking camera? A regular, I'm just asking for a friend. You know? This was so ridiculous. When it was sub-zero, it's like, geez, you guys. And these people wouldn't come down, and ICE didn't go up and get them because, I mean, who knows? You know what? There was so much of a crowd. This is interesting. I think ICE is doing a lot more than what we're seeing, because if there's thousands of them here, they're doing a lot more than what we're seeing, you guys. And that I am very grateful for. But we're gonna go and prove that Mercado Media is a low budget piece of shit, self-indulgent douche canoe.
his live coverage of ICE raids in the Twin Cities.
We could be sitting for a few hours, or we could be busy at a scene for a few hours.
Has been viewed tens of thousands of times.
Blah, we're done with that one. Okay, so then, wait, let me take that out of there. There's this, wait. What do we got? Did I already play that one?
Mass police, fuck you! Fuck you, mass police! Take your fucking mask off! Oh! Ha ha! You almost hit your own guy, you motherfuckers!
That was yesterday. Wait, there's more. Oh, this is where a Mercado Media guy can't shut his fucking mouth. He's just spewing shit. And he's just gonna get himself incarcerated, is what he's gonna have us. They're gonna arrest this guy. I'm gonna almost guarantee it, because they know he's followed, they know what he's about, and they're letting everybody document this. This guy's a fucking dumbass, because he does so much illegal shit and fucking videotapes it live. He's gonna get lambasted in court.
Loser, smart dick energy. Get smart dick energy. Get smart dick energy.
Your mother shall swallow, so you can't come to see you.
Hey, listen, chat, because of the last time I was standing here, it was a little crazy with losers that came out here. But I welcome any conservative, though. Any conservative, any Republican. MAGA, you can go fuck yourself. But any conservative or any Republican that wants to see what this is like, you can come stand right next to me. And you can just observe, and you can see what it's about. And not participate. You don't have to chant. You don't have to carry a sign. You You don't have to do shit, but just stand here, and then when they start gassing, you better run away, obviously. But I mean, you can come out here and see what it's about. If not, then you're just. I mean, it's your own personal choice. But any conservative or Republican that is not a part of the cult that wants to see what the hell's going on, because like you clearly, I mean, this is an issue of like the Constitution out here and like the federal overreach. So I mean, if you're conservative, truly, you should. This is your issue too. So come on out and check it out. MAGA though, you better go stand on your side. You chose a side already. That's your side. You can fall off of it though. Listen, MAGA, there's hope for you still. A lot of other people have given up on you. I haven't yet, actually. You can still go fuck yourself. But like at the same time, you know, there's always time to fall off, right? And you're welcome to. And when you do, I will be here for you. And if you want to come out and check these protests out without participating in a observer capacity, I will be here for you, and I will teach you how to wear safety gear.
He's a fag. That fucking guy. All I gotta say is after my Gen X bros and hoes from freaking Frogtown, Gen Xers in St. Paul, Minnesota, you know what? Once you see one of these other videos that's going to be coming up, you're going to be like, nah, no, we're taking that shit back. We're taking that shit back. No, I'm from Frogtown. And in fact, one of these videos later is where they lost him. This is where they freaking took him to Frogtown. Frogtown, Monktown. They ain't fucking giving up no fucking territory over there. Okay? I'm just telling you right now. Hold on. Here's some more Mercado Media. This fucking douche canoe.
Convoy location. So this diversion should be important.
All right.
What did you see?
Just lights and a cluster of cars, but it's okay. Make another right. Even if it was
all right, so yeah, make the right.
All right, maybe not. Okay.
And then,
all right.
And then right at the lane.
Okay.
And then we're back on the path.
Okay.
Nice.
I'm waiting.
Can you pull that up?
Yeah.
Can you pull that up? Yeah, it does not all the way necessarily, but I just. So the one that we're heading to is 31st and Park, which was a convoy as of 3 minutes ago.
Okay.
That was their presence as of 3 minutes ago, and we're going to arrive in 4.
Okay.
So we'll be 7 behind it, but there hasn't been an update yet on it.
Okay. I don't know.
They might have split up. We saw that right before the crazy shit that happened yesterday. Actually, they might test if you're following them.
I can't see anything. Can you stay behind him?
Your call.
They're slowing down a little bit. They are slowing down big time.
Yeah, they're testing if you're following.
Yeah.
They might come out and warn us.
Okay, well.
Just be ready if it happens.
I'm not honking and whistling at him. You got your cameras ready?
Yeah, if they...
You know, then he decides later on that day he's going to go back to the Whipple building where ICE has their offices in the small detention center. And he seeks advice. You want to hear this?
What can people do at home, like, that want to help? You know, we're Minnesotan, we live here, but how can people, like, help that are trying to help if they can?
I mean, obviously sharing the work that you're doing, the work that we're doing, the work that Jolly's doing, making sure that that word is out, because media isn't covering this nearly as much as they should, and we can't rely on them to be out here on the ground all the time. But it's important that everybody sees just how bad it is, because as much as we tell you, it's worse than it seems like when we talk about it. And then supporting organizations like 5051 Minnesota, Indivisible in Minnesota, MIRAC, Monarch, all of these organizations are helping people on the ground here, whether it's protesting, whether it's helping the affected families, whether it's rapid response organizing, they can do that. Supporting all of that is great too.
Off your wagon on TikTok, guys. Make sure you guys go follow him. Echo, you mind doing a street interview quick? You good? All right, we got Echo Romeo over here.
You guys, you know what? It doesn't stop there. Today was even better. You know who he was starting to stalk today? Bavino's crew, and he admits to it right live on his stream. He's such a maroon. It's so funny. I can't wait for them to just him live streaming while they pull his ass out of the car and put him in handcuffs and throw him in the freaking tank in the big fishbowl with the rest of them. Sorry. I'm just saying, he is stalking them. He is anti-ICE. He talks about it all the time. So he makes certain statements while he's doing it. And that's what makes it egregious, because he knows there's thousands of people watching him, many of which are in that Twin City area, and then following, trying to catch and harass ICE more. So he's part of that whole network of anarchists and Antifa-ists or whatever. I don't want to say these Antifa. I haven't confirmed any of that yet. I don't know that he's actually there. I think he's just kind of small potatoes and just kind of fell into this, and so he's running with it. And I'm tried to give him a warning saying, listen, bro, maybe it's the Hispanic portion of me that wants to say, bro, settle the fuck down. You better stop posting the shit that you're posting when you say fuck ICE, and then you start live streaming that shit and following the freaking director of ICE and his security team. Are you fucking kidding me? No, it was so funny. Halfway through the video, I knew that they were just leading him on a fucking, who goes through a neighborhood like that? It's funny because ICE starts bringing him through my old neighborhood. I could name every street they are on. It's so funny because they're taking them through Midway and Frogtown, and that's where I'm from. I've told you guys plenty of times before, I'm from Frogtown. I was born and raised in Frogtown. I am a Frogtown girl. That will go with me for forever. I got the Frogtown attitude. Don't fucking try me. Don't tell me. Don't fucking tell me. I ain't got time for that shit. No, I'm from Frogtown. Okay? And if you know a Gen X Frogtowner, okay, that's the era I grew up. Okay, so I don't want to hear your shit. Don't care. And then any of my other Frogtown people see this shit happening. Look, this shit happened back when the Hmongs came in the 70s and 80s, okay? This kind of shit happened, all this fucked up shit. And the beauty was they started, I told you guys this before, they started robbing their own people. And I've noticed this again. This is a new thing that's happening again. They're putting propaganda out there that don't trust the banks, because these Asians, when the Hmong first got here, they weren't trusting the bank system. And so they would hide money. The elderly would hide lots of money. And so the young people knew this, and they would go and rob their own people. Gonna guarantee if that's the kind of propaganda that's actually going around the Twin Cities again. I think that they're gonna do that kind of a money grab. These Somalians are gonna start fucking robbing their own people again. It's gonna be a hot fucking mess. But then their people will turn those motherfuckers in. It's just a freaking cyclical thing. It's gonna happen. I have no doubt in my mind. You know, it is what it is. I've lived it. I know it. I'm 53 years old, you guys. I've been there. I've done that. I've lived this. I know. I'm not stupid. I see the writing on the motherfucking wall, and it's so fun to watch because this time around, well, I mean, I kind of knew it then, but I was a youngster. I was a youth. I didn't pay attention to politics or worldviews or anything. I just observed as a teenager. I observed all of these things. I paid attention as a teenager to these things. I silently watched as I watched my community turn to shit. They had a bunch of hookers and shit like that. And I'm telling you, I remember when my folks freaking started getting involved in watch, neighborhood watch and things like that were like, listen, we're not going to allow this for our children because you know what? You Gen Zers are going to have children, and you're not going to want this kind of stuff for your children. You're not going to want whatever happened to you to happen to them. You're going to want better, more. And it can happen. It can happen for you. It can happen. We just need to take the bull by the horns. We need to understand that this is spiritual warfare. If you start listening to the words that they're saying and the things that that's spewing out of their mouth, you know it's just demonic. It's the antithesis of good. It is not good. It's evil. And God's word actually talks about this stuff. It's so exciting to be living in these times and to be witnessing these things. And that's kind of why I want to watch some of that Rick, like that 20-minute portion of Rick Renner's The End Time thing, where you're going to start to see and recognize. And he explains it so much better than I ever could. And so we're gonna do that tonight, just so that we have a full, the full scope, the full picture, and then we can start to unpack it, over the next few days and weeks. I have a 3-day weekend, you guys. Hate your state. Get ready, man. He'll watch this later, I'm sure. Maybe not. I don't know, but I'll text him later, and he'll have so much fun. We'll have so much fun this weekend. I'm hoping, because I have so much content to put out. Anyways, okay. Let's start here. This is today, you guys, with Mercado Media. And let's just start out. The guy's just setting himself up to get arrested any fucking day now. They're going to it's going to be the end of him. He's going to lose everything if he doesn't stop. He really needs to just record and then upload later and edit his shit. Because if he keeps doing this, he's going to have a huge case against him. I'm just telling you, I say it with love. Dude, take it for what it's worth. And anybody who's watching that loves that guy, well, you know what? Fucking tell that guy. He better stop his shit. And he's looking like a total dick. Dumb jackass is what he is.
So not sure where Border Patrol Commander Greg Bavino is, chat, but this is his crew. This is his posse he would roll around with.
He said someone threw a bottle full of piss at you or something?
I heard that. I was like, I thought I was hallucinating for a second. I'm like, did he just say piss? Somebody threw piss at us. Are we going? We're going to St. Paul. This is the St. Paul. Right? Yeah. No, we're pressed. We're pressed.
Or maybe they flipped up.
He doesn't care.
Go ahead.
No, why did we get the finger? Yeah, maybe that's why. He's like, I support ICE, actually. Yeah. Fuck y'all for doing that. Okay, so we're crossing into St. Paul now. There's the river. Cool view of the river. That's what separates Minneapolis and St. Paul. There you go, and we're in it. St. Paul time. So share out the stream to any St. Paul groups. I know a ton of people on Facebook are tracking what's happening in St. Paul. So go ahead and share it out where the convoy is now here. So right now we're following Border Patrol behind activists and community members that are blowing whistles and horns. Yeah, it's on chats for members right now, just so we can filter out losers for a while.
A loser is defined as anyone not subscribed to Andrew Mercado.
There you go.
They might do the same thing.
And tell them to fuck off again.
Stop following us. We're very clearly doing something to make you guys follow us around. Stop following us.
I know. We're patrolling your streets with weapons that we use when we're at war and full gear.
Wait, what does he mean when he says weapons when they're at war and full gear? Is he wearing a bulletproof vest? If he's committing a crime, even a misdemeanor here in Minnesota, and he's wearing a bulletproof vest, you know, that constitutes another crime. Just so you know. Just want to let you know, bro. You might want to take that bulletproof vest off, ding dong. You fucking dumbass. There was another shooting in Minneapolis tonight. I haven't even got to that. We've got more. Let's watch a little bit more.
On him?
Your call.
They're slowing down a little bit.
They are slowing down big time.
Yeah, they're testing if you're following.
Yeah.
They might come out and warn us.
Okay, well.
Just be ready if it happens.
I'm not honking and
Talking
whistling.
about the ICE agent. This guy?
He's got your cameras ready?
Yeah, if they...
And then there's this.
Oh man, if we can. This is Adam. Yeah. Red car. Yeah. They're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. I don't know, man.
Clear.
Are we clear?
Yep.
Hold on.
After this
Go ahead, Adam. Go ahead,
clear.
Adam. Clear?
You're on the right.
I'm going. Oh, perfect. Green light.
Like he was in a green light. No, he was a red light, bro. That was a red motherfucking light. You know what? Traffic violation after traffic violation. This guy, and he's recording it all live. It's like he doesn't even get it. He's a fucking moron. You can't fucking make this shit up, you guys. It's so ridiculous. The weapons of war were a reference to the ICE agents. Okay, whatevs. Here's another. Here's where he starts. He actually zooms in.
4 of them this morning. I saw a couple of them split off. I think they're just pulling us out of the city.
I think so.
Yeah, that's where we're going to. Yep. You guys take care.
So they realize finally that they're pulling them out of the city because they're like, "What the fuck?" That whole neighborhood they were going. Yeah, and ACCT3. You know exactly. You grew up in that same neighborhood, didn't you? So you know exactly where we're talking. So, I mean, it's like I'm like calling out all Gen Xers to freaking call out all the bullshit. Look, we bitched about it back in the 70s and 80s. Are you fucking kidding me? All through the 80s, we bitched about this shit. People not fucking willing to assimilate, shit like this. You know what? We don't want no fucking murderers and pedos. Those fuckers get beat the fuck up in that neighborhood. What are you kidding me? Shit. Don't get me started. I ain't got time for that. Anyways. You guys, I'm telling you. It's real. And it's kind of fun to watch because now they're in the area where I'm always working. And so you see them everywhere and it's so nice. But I'm too busy. I'm working. I ain't got time for that shit. You know what? No, I got stories when I can't tell them because it's like there's so many. There's so much. There's so much going on. And I'm loving it, though. I'm loving that they're in the area where I constantly work. I see them. And you know what? It just smile and I grin. And I'm like, this is awesome. I'm so grateful because most of the communities are staying out of the way. Most of these communities want this to take place because they want their communities back. And, I can't lie. Last week, whatever, I noticed that as somebody that lives quite near to me, actually, I've been a little bit suspicious of, is on the list of recipients, for funding. And I got an email last Friday because I did put a FOIA request in, and they finally they've responded to it last Friday. So it should be, I believe they have like 10 days once they receive the request or once they acknowledge the request that to, go through it and see if it's appropriate or whatever what you're requesting. And so hopefully I'll have that and I'll know. And, I haven't decided if I'll share that with you guys or not. But all I do know is there was another place that I drove past today and it was called the Smiley Infant Academy. I haven't even looked that shit up, but it looked sus as shit. Sus as shit. I mean, it's in a neighborhood in North Minneapolis where I'm like, shit, I wouldn't bring my kid there. What are you kidding me? You can't even paint the outside. No, Kay. Not doing it. I can't do it. Fucking messed up, you guys. I'm sorry. You know what? It's shocking. It is so shocking how so many, and I'm going to just come out and say it, there's Democrats. They literally are Democrats. They identify as Democrats that are still against ICE, and they don't get it. They don't understand how it's impacting. There was a video, hold on, maybe I can pull that up, of he was a construction worker and he was talking about how it's affecting construction. Let me see. I'm going to pull it up. Apparently I didn't get a chance to cut it. Maybe I did. Maybe I didn't. I don't know. We're going to share this tab and I'm going to play this for you because he explains it really well, because I imagine that this is what was going on in our construction world, with the world of construction here in Minnesota. I totally believe this, and things are falling down. You're going to start seeing buildings collapse and shit like that because they aren't being built to code. Shit's going to start catching on fire. It's going to be a fucking nightmare. And I'm telling you, house prices are going to come down in Minnesota, guys. I'm telling you this. Save your money for the right moment, because it's going to happen for you. This is going to be a moment of prosperity for those who have wisdom and understanding and knowledge of, and they have forethought. Okay, so let's watch this guy. I'm sorry, I didn't cut it. It is what it is.
Yo, what's going on? So I've been debating long and hard about making this, because it could be a career suicide move. Maybe people are going to hate it. Some people are going to say someone needed to say it. People are going to be pissed just because of what's happening right now. So I'm just going to let you know the facts. And this is really how it is right now in the state of Minnesota. And this is building on stuff with the fraud. I'm in the industry. I've been in the industry for 23 years. I know how this is going. I can see the writing on the wall. It's been this way for years, and it's getting worse and worse and worse. I'm coming on here just so there's clarity, because people want to have their opinions on what's happening. Well, I'm going to give you the truth, and this is just straight facts. Not going to talk about the smalling stuff, but I'm going to build on that with construction in general, or landscaping, or lawn care, or all these things are affected. I'm going to tell you why. So Minnesota is a sanctuary state, and that's how they set it up. I'm not the guy who made the rules. I'm just letting you know how it is. So what happens in my industry, or in siding, roof, whatever, it doesn't really matter what the industry is I have competitors as of the last 4 or 5 years. So what they do is, if they're illegal, they'll start a business. And what they usually do, there's a one guy in particular, I'm not going to say his name or the name of the company, but what they do is he'll marry an American citizen, put the business in her name, right? And this is how they beat you, how they win in competition. Then they don't pay insurance. Like, if you want a business and you want to say, hey, the business has to be insured, correct? I have insurance, right? But then there's liability insurance, work comp insurance, there's unemployment insurance, and those are super high premiums in the construction industry. So with these insurances that you have to be in business, on each employee, your price has to go up to reflect that, so you can pay them and make money. So the way people do this is that if you have, let's say I have 5 guys that are legal, right? I can pay them $15 an hour cash. Then I don't have to have work comp insurance on them. I don't have to have unemployment insurance on them. But if I pay them cash, then they're not paying taxes, and I can charge a lower price, so I can undercut everyone. Does that make sense? Also, what's happening is, if you just get paid cash, you're not showing an income. And because we're a sanctuary state or sanctuary cities, they get to have all the benefits. So they get like free healthcare, free food. So even though that you say, well, they're working, yes, but in the same way, they're taking, they're working, and they're undercutting all the American businesses, wiping them out. And on top of that, they're taking the free stuff. So just shine a little light on that. You can say, I believe this guy, I don't. I've been in the industry for 23 years. I know what I'm talking about. Ask an actual business owner. Go ask them. Go ask them, what are you getting out of this? Or do you see this? They know it, dude. So every day that this happens, guys are getting destroyed. Like 5 gutter companies went out of business last year because of this. So these are hardworking American people that pay their taxes, that took the risk, that feed their families. And these guys come in and they just destroy it. And then on top of it, people go, what happened to the quality? What happened to the quality? Well, the quality is gone because you decided to use the guy at a half price, and then you got shit quality. And then you want guys like me or whoever to come fix it. Well, under, again, the state law, I didn't write the law. Now, if I touch that house, I'm liable. From a business standpoint, that makes no sense. So now I have to tell you, hey, bud, I can rip it off and do it again. And now you're mad. So it's like, it's a catch-22. Like, everyone's so mad about this. Oh my God, I can't believe this. But at the same time, it's deeper than just the other stuff that's happening on the news. So it goes deep, farther and farther and farther down this rabbit hole that people aren't even aware of. And you're like, you're sitting there going, I can't even believe this is happening right now. I'm not going to have a business anymore. So my taxes got robbed. I don't get anything. They keep going higher. Or if you were just a normal worker, you're getting the crap tax out of you. I'm sorry. That's what it is in Minnesota. That's how we operate. Then we're going to give it all away. Whatever the number is, I don't know. I'm not an investigator and I'm not in the investigation. And that's none of my business. But then on top of that, okay, I go work harder. I'll just pay the taxes. Well, then you have these other guys coming through, pulling their pants down, charging half price, still getting paid their money, and then they get to get the free benefits on top of it, which puts me out of business. So it's like, just made a quick video, not blaming anybody. I'm just coming out here to let you know what the heck is really going on. So that was it. Hope you guys have a great day. Didn't mean to bring you more bad news to it. I'm just letting you know what's really happening on the ground in our world. All right? Have a good one.
I cannot.
Yo, what's going on?
Oh, wait. Am I
Yo,
saying
what's
it
going
again?
on?
Hold on. Sorry.
So I've been debating long and hard
Brian,
about
stop.
making this.
Hold on. I'm sorry. Hold
Could be a
on.
career suicide move.
Stop. Shut up. I have no idea where it's coming from. Hold on. Here it is. Found it. Okay. Sorry, guys. You see, even the construct, it's in every field. We were talking about fast food workers. These are supposed to be entry level. I was talking to my family about this. Fast food worker jobs are supposed to be entry level jobs for our youth. That's how they were. That's what they were created for. On the job training, you get credit for high school for learning how to be a productive member of society by learning how to be an employee. And that's what fast food workers were supposed to originally be for. That's why, they're minimum wage jobs. They're entry level jobs is what they are. And so now we've got illegals coming to take those jobs and making careers out of them because these companies and like McDonald's and things like these woke companies are doing this. And you know what? I don't know about all McDonald's, but I know that there are some in the Twin Cities that are doing this. I've seen it. But that's my opinion, I guess you could say. I don't want to get in trouble with Crackdonald's, but it's sad because I see plenty of companies doing this very thing in the Twin Cities. I see it. I know that they're doing it. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure it out. We're not stupid people. And like I have this somebody who's like a big Gen Xer on you no, not YouTube, on Facebook. And I realized, I'm like, you know what? Our generation really does need to take the bull by its horns. We need to step up and do what it is we know is right. Our patriotism is there, you guys. You might have your hippie parents or whatever, but you in the Twin Cities, I grew up in Frogtown. I grew up in the downtown. I grew up on the west side. I grew up all over St. Paul, Minnesota. We stayed away from Minneapolis. There is a rivalry between St. Paul and Minneapolis. It's always been there because Minneapolis, nobody from St. Paul wanted to go over there because there was so much crime. There was just so much fucking crime. St. Paul is the more professional, more studious, they're just smarter fucking people. Sorry, it's true. I that's how I feel. That's how everybody from every St. Pauli girl, that's how we are. I'm Frogtown. I grew up in Frogtown in the late 70s, 80s, early 80s, all throughout my 80s. I'm not 80, but all throughout the 80s and in the 90s, I'm the Frogtown and west side of St. Paul. And then so that's where my families are from. I'm not ashamed of that. I'm proud of that. I love that. My family, I'm proud of so much when it comes to my family. My family are like how do I want to say this? You know what? We're good. And we've always done things the right way. You can go back and I'm so grateful that my family taught me integrity. And in the world that we lived in, we had integrity and we did things the right way. We came here the right way. We didn't freaking do things illegally. My family came here legally. And it sucks knowing that other people, other families come here not legally. So right there it questions their integrity. They have none in my book. They have no integrity in my book. When you come here illegally, you have no integrity. Because you do not you don't respect the rule of law. You just don't. And it is what it is. You're going to disrespect the law. You're going to go against the law. Guess what? Of the law of the land, I should say. Fortunately, I've been redeemed from the law, the God's law, because of what Christ did for me. But the law of the land, we should be respectful and mindful of the law of the land. We should not poo-poo that. And if you are, if the thought process that, it's suggested, or you get to take, you're not an American citizen. You don't get to take part in the American Constitution. You are not an American. Okay, just because your fucking feet are here on our soil doesn't make you an American. It makes you a visitor. And you better start fucking acting right. Because if you don't act right, trust me, Americans will, real Americans, and I'll guarantee you there's real Americans in Minnesota. I've seen it happen. They're going to come forward and they're going to take care of business. So stop the bullshit. I'm just saying, you got to stop the bullshit. Eventually, it's going to come back to haunt you. And the thing is, real Minnesotans from my era, we grew up knowing God. We all my friends growing up, we all believed in God. We all went to Sunday school. We all had philosophy on God, Jesus, all that stuff. Trust me, this is a Christian city. St. Paul, it was a Christian city to me. I don't know about Minneapolis, but St. Paul was a Christian city. And by golly, you think I'm going to freaking back down to some demons? Fuck no, not fucking happening. How about fuck you? Yeah, that's the new fucking signal, I guess. That's the new freaking sign language nowadays, apparently. But you know what? I ain't even gonna lie. I've been doing that for a long time. I've done that my whole life. That's better than the Effenheimer. Okay, it is what it is. You know what? Today I was on my way to work and we had the green arrow. And a motherfucker, when you're in a left turn lane and you're waiting for that green arrow and there's one car ahead of you and that motherfucker doesn't go when it turns green, pisses you off, right? Oh, yeah. So that happened to me today, right? On my way to work. I'm like, look, bitch, I ain't trying to be fucking late, okay? So freaking arrow turns green, no movement. Normally I do a tap, tap, like beep, beep. Yeah, come on, let's go. But I didn't. This morning, I just went beep. And that motherfucker, you know what he did? He gave me the finger out the window. And I'm like, fuck you. You're the one who's fucking sitting there on a fucking green arrow, you ding dong. What the fuck? Piss me off. Okay? Just saying. This is the kind of shit I got to put up with here in Minnesota, in the Twin Cities. Like they're the ones doing something wrong, but you're wrong. You're the one. You're being inconvenient for freaking, hey, just pointing out facts, ma'am. It's just so frustrating that people don't get that. And there's so much of it. It's weird. It's so weird, you guys. I was going to try to pull up some videos that I actually have from back in, I think it's 2020 or 2021. When they had all the stores, all mom and pop shops, all the little shops closed, but they had big box stores open. Oh, you guys. I was going to play that, but I can't. We're going to, let's see. We're going to play my my favorite tune real quick because I have to have a bathroom break, but I'll be right back. We got more because we're going to go to that Rick Renner thing here in a second. Okay, check this out.
Oh Lord, I have so many enemies, so many are against me, so many are saying God will never rescue him. But you, oh Lord, are a shield around me. You are my glory, the one who holds my head high. I cried out to the Lord, and he answered me from his holy mountain. I lay down and slept, yet I woke up in safety, for the Lord was watching over me. I am not afraid of 10,000 enemies who surround me on every side. Arise, O Lord, rescue me, my God. Slap all my enemies in the face. Shatter the teeth of the wicked. Victory comes from you. Oh Lord, may you bless your people.
That's my jam. That is my jam. I listen to that all day, you guys. It's so sad. It's silly, but okay. So let's see. You know, that painting earlier was totally for Erica Kirk, and I was going to share this because it made so much sense to me when I heard this, because this is where we need to get to as human beings, as Christians. If you're a Christian, I really feel like this is our moment. This is our moment to rise. And yeah, I'm calling the Gen Xers the last generation to have gone to church, to have learned the word, that have been brought up for the fear of a nun, that kind of shit, of getting by a nun, that kind of stuff, guys. Listen to this one. I want you to hear what Erica says, because it makes sense, and she's right. Look at her eyes. I want you to see the light that's shining in her eyes, that you don't get that from normal people. People think that's crazy. No, that's the Spirit of God. She's holding on for dear life to Jesus Christ. And that's what women do. That's what women do when they feel that they don't have someone, when they don't feel like, they hold on to Jesus Christ. And it is so good, because he is the Redeemer. He is the one. He is the one that's going to save. So check this out.
Carrying on Charlie's legacy, and there is so much noise. I know I've said this many times before, and there will always be noise. Whenever you are over the target, we're in enemy-occupied territory. There will always be noise, and there will always be people that will distract you. If myself or Charlie spent every single second going down and responding to every accusation, responding to every insult, responding to every judgment, we would get nothing done. We just wouldn't. And at the end of, Nehemiah, he basically was saying, Lord, strengthen my hands. And so I feel the same way. Like, I'm not going to ask God to remove those people from my life. It just makes me stronger. So, Lord, instead of removing these people and this noise at the bottom of the hill while I'm trying to build, just give me stronger shoulders, give me stronger hands to keep building, because that's always going to be there. That's the enemy, and that's life. That's life.
To accelerate.
That's the truth. When people are put in positions where like they have nowhere else to turn, that, you know what, they rely on Jesus, and that's where the strength comes from. You know, where that there's a scripture, my help comes from the Lord, the maker of heaven and earth. Or it's like song, even, you know, it's true. That's where a widowed woman will draw her strength, is from God. And you know, kudos to her. She's doing it the right way. She's leaning on the Lord for clarity, for wisdom, for leadership. Her husband died, but Jesus is her redeemer. She is a widow. And there's so much to unpack. So, what I have decided to do is get into the Rick Renner theme-bobber. Oh my gosh, you guys, this series, it's a 10-part series. It's going to be so good. You guys, trust me on this one. You will love it. I don't know how this is going to play out. I don't know. We're going to listen to Rick Renner's. It's actually the first of a 10-part series. What did Jesus say about the end of the age? And trust me, this is the end of the age, you guys. And Rick Renner is actually going to give you a better understanding in plain English and Greek. He'll explain the Greek to you in plain English so that you have a better understanding. It's God's word in a way that you probably haven't experienced it before. But God has really, truly not forgotten us. He has given us modern day prophets, modern day teachers and preachers. It didn't end 2,000 years ago. They didn't just stop. God doesn't just abandon us like that. It doesn't work like that. He's here. He's the same yesterday, today, and for forever. He's always there. He's omnipotent. He's in everything, is everything. Okay. You know what? I can't. Let's just watch it. Okay. We're going to watch the first part, and I am going to let him go on with whatever he's offering some stuff, because you know what, he's got a good ministry. Highly encourage you to participate. Subscribe to him. He's on YouTube, Rumble, and probably some other, X. I don't know about X, but I know he's on YouTube and Rumble. Rick Renner, check him out.
Waiting for you, and I'm so excited because today I'm beginning a brand new 10-part series called How Close Are We to the End?
Yeah.
That's a question people are asking. And by the way, people have been asking that for 2,000 years.
Yep.
But in Matthew 24 and Mark 13 and Luke 21, Jesus gives us a list of signs to let us know how close we are to the end. But my friends, I'm so excited about this brand new 10-part series, which comes with a wonderful study guide. And I'm so excited about my book called Signs You'll See Just Before Jesus Comes. It is just wonderful. And you can find out about all these things by going online or giving us a call. And during every episode of this program, we're giving to you an end times timeline. We've designed this just for you. It shows all the prophecies that have already been fulfilled. It shows that those that are being fulfilled, and then it shows those that are yet to be fulfilled. And we made this for you, so we want you to have it. And all you have to do is go online to download it, or if you call us, we'll send you a physical copy. And when you get it, it will really open the scriptures for you to let you see where we've been, where we are, what's still going to take place. It is an end time timeline. I'll
find it and I'll put the link inside the chat.
for you. All you have to do is call the number on the screen. We'll send it to you, or you can download it by going to our website. But we really want you to get this. I believe will help you see the whole view of prophecy in Scripture. And when you reach out to us, please let us know how to pray for you. We're praying for you anyway. But when you let us know how to pray for you, we're going to do a better job. We're going to be much more effective. And we have so many testimonies from people that have called back to say, wow, you prayed with us and listened to what Jesus did. And we believe Jesus has an answer for you as well. But reach for your Bible. Now, today and in the next 9 programs, we're really going to dive deep into the Scriptures. And I want you to have your Bible and open it, if you would please, to Matthew chapter 24. And we're going to begin today in verse 1. Matthew 24, verse 1. Jesus has just come out of the temple with his disciples, and he pauses to teach on his way out. And the Bible tells us in Matthew 24, verse 1, as Jesus went out and departed from the temple, and his disciples came to him to show him the buildings of the temple. Now listen to verse 2. Jesus said unto them, see ye not all these things? Verily I say unto you, there shall not be left here one stone upon another that shall not be thrown down. I'm going to tell you the truth. When Jesus said that, there could have been nothing more shocking or stunning for him to say to the disciples, because the temple was enormous. In fact, today, if you go to Jerusalem and you go to the Wailing Wall just to see what is left of the retaining wall, the stones are enormous. And it's hard to imagine that those stones would be toppled down onto the ground. But Jesus said a day is coming when these stones are going to fall and the temple will no longer exist. That seemed unbelievable. It seemed implausible. But in the year 70 AD, that is exactly what happened when Titus sacked the city of Jerusalem. And today, when you go to the city of Jerusalem and you walk along the bottom part of the retaining walls of the temple, guess what's there? The big stones that were toppled from the temple itself. They're laying right there. And every time you look at those stones, and it seemed it was so impossible when Jesus spoke that word that would ever come to pass. But just like Jesus said, the temple was sacked, the stones fell. And when you see that big rubble of ancient stones, it is like a voice that is shouting to us, just like this happened, everything else, Jesus said in Matthew 24, will also come to pass. Those stones are a prophetic declaration that everything in Matthew 24 really is going to happen. Well, that was stunning for the apostles to hear that. But finally, Jesus and the disciples walked across the Kidron Valley, and they went over onto the Mount of Olives. And from the Mount of Olives, if you look back across the Kidron Valley, you have a panoramic view of the city of Jerusalem, and it is just beautiful. If you want to have a prophetic view, that is a prophetic view. And when we come to verse 3, it says, and as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, his disciples came unto him privately. Notice that when they were alone with Jesus, they felt the freedom to ask questions that he would not answer in front of the multitudes. And let me tell you that when you get alone with Jesus, Jesus will tell you things just for your ears as well. But they asked him privately, saying, now listen to this, when shall these things be? What shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world? Well, at this particular time, there was a great interest and fascination with end time events. The people of Israel were waiting for the coming of the Messiah. And of course, he came, but they didn't recognize him. But there really was a general obsession with end time events. And in fact, between the two testaments, between the Old and the New Testament, there was a great fixation on all kinds of things having to do with eschatology. So these questions were very fitting to the time. They had a feeling something very significant was about to happen. And the question they asked, when shall these things be? This was very fitting for that age, and that's why they were asking the question. This was a very typical question at that time, and isn't it interesting that as we wait for the second coming of Jesus, once again, there's a fascination, there's a fixation on end time events. The church has a sense that we're coming to the very end of the age, and people are asking the same questions again. When shall these things be? What shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the age? But I want to go to the board, and I want to take apart this verse so you really understand exactly what they were asking. So let's go to the board. I'm going to get my marker. And first of all, they said when.
I kind of like this board.
The word when is a very important word. In Greek, it is the word pote. Now, if you want to write this down in English, it's spelled like this. But the word pote is very specific. Exactly when. Now, remember, now they're alone with Jesus. Nobody else is listening, so they feel the freedom to really get specific. And they said, Lord, when pote, tell us exactly when shall these things be, and what shall be the sign of thy coming at the end of the age? Then they said, what? And the word what is the Greek word T. If you're taking notes and you want to write it in English, it's spelled like this. The word T describes the most minute, minuscule detail. It was the equivalent of saying, Lord, we don't want a general answer. Lord, we want you to get really specific with us. First, when, pote, tell us when exactly and what shall be the sign of thy coming. What? The little Greek word T. Exactly what, Lord, please. No fuzzy details. Get down to specifics. Exactly what shall be the sign of thy coming. And the word sign is also very important. It is the Greek word Simeon, spelled like this in Greek. If you want to write it down in English, you would spell it S-E-M-E-I-O-N. This word Simeon described a sign to let you know where you were on the road. Just like when you're traveling today, there are signs to let you know where you are. I'll give you an example from my own life. Let's say this is the city of Moscow, and in the middle of Moscow is the Kremlin. Well, Denise and I and our offices are just outside the city, 7.5 miles. As we take that road into the city of Moscow, we begin out where we live and where our office is, and there are trees, there are pastures, there are forests. It's just so beautiful where our office is. But as we take this road into the city, there are signs to let us know that we're entering into a new atmosphere, a new environment. First, we begin to see more industry. Then we begin to see taller buildings. And finally, it's more dense with more industry and taller buildings. And finally, we cross this major highway called MCAD. And when you cross that road, you're no longer traveling toward Moscow, but you've entered Moscow. But there's something else. As you drive that road, there are little road signs that tell you where you are on the road and how far you have to go before you get to the city of Moscow. If there were no signs, you would have no idea where you were on the road. But because of what you see as the environment and the atmosphere is changing, and because of the signs which tell you where you are and alert you to how much further you have to go, you're always able to measure where you are. And finally, when you come to this juncture, there's a big sign that says Moscow, and you know you're no longer heading toward the city, but you've entered into the territory of Moscow. Well, this word Simeon describes what I just described for you, either road signs or signs of different sorts, which you see along the way. And now we find that as we journey from where we are to the end of the age, to the close of this season, things are going to begin to change. The environment's going to change. Society is going to change. We're going to see changes in culture, changes in politics, all kinds of changes. And in Matthew 24, Jesus gives us a list of the changes that we will see. And if we pay attention to the signs, we can determine where we are on this prophetic road heading to the close of the age. And that's why Jesus gave us signs. He wants us to be informed about where we are and how much further we have to go before we come to the close. That's what this word sign means, the word Simeon. But they particularly asked, what will be the sign of thy coming? The word coming is the Greek word parousia. It's spelled like this. If you want to write it in English, it's spelled like this. The word parousia means to be present, or it describes the coming of the Lord. Now, People argue about this word, and some people say, well, this word only describes the second advent, the second coming at the end of the tribulation. And certainly it is used to describe that. But when you study the New Testament, you find this word parousia is used to describe both events, the rapture of the church and the second advent or the second coming, which is 7 years later. And the way you understand which one it is describing is by the context of the verses. But I want to read to you from my notes about this word parousia, or the word coming. Listen to this. The word parousia is a technical expression for the royal visit of a king or emperor, or the arrival of one who alone has the authority to deal with the situation and to put things in correct order. And as I noted, many state that this word parousia only describes the second advent of Christ, but a survey of its use in the New Testament shows it describes the coming of Christ at the time of the rapture and also his second coming, which we also call the second advent. But here they're asking, Lord, how will we know when we come to the very end of the age, when, pote, exactly when shall these things be? What, the little Greek word T, exactly what, Lord, get specific, will be the sign, the word Simeon, which describes a road sign. How will we know where we are on the prophetic road as we're heading to the close of the age? What will be the sign of thy coming, the word parousia? Lord, when you're going to come, you're going to right every wrong. You're going to put everything in order. And then it says the end of the world. That's what the King James Version says. But the word end is also very important. It is the Greek word soon teleos. Soon teleos. In English, it would be spelled like this. Now, let me tell you, there's never going to be an end of the world. This word end, the word soon teleos, would be better translated the closure, the consummation, or the wrap up. And that's what they were asking. And very importantly, the word world, which is how it's translated in the King James Version, is actually the Greek word ionos, spelled like this in English. And the word ionos does not describe the world like the planet, but it describes the age. I want to tell you to relax. The world's never going to end. Now, there's a day when it's going to be refined by fire and it's going to be changed, but the world itself is never.
So the word ionos totally makes me think of the word ion. And if you go into portions of, I believe it's even the book of Enoch, but there's so many other ancient historical books that talk about ions, and it's an age. It's like all of this, it's like a particular set of, I guess, a set of time, of space. It's interesting because I'm still trying to let God minister to me about what an ion is, but it's an age. It's an age, an era is what it is. And so we're coming to that end of that era or age. And it's very interesting because he starts to point out in this series, he's already done 8 of these, all of the things that are happening now, and it associates that. Now, we've done that for all time, I guess, kind of, but as we get closer to the end of the age, he's showing us that these words in Greek, when it was originally written, it says you're going to see certain signs. And so let's continue. See how much further he's got to, probably about another 5.
Never going to end, but the age is going to end. And that's what we're talking about in this series. And here they were asking, Lord, how will we know when it's time for the wrap up, the closure, the consummation of the ionos of this particular age? That is precisely what they were asking. They were fixated on this age. When is it going to end? And guess what? These are the same questions people are asking today. Maybe you've been asking these questions. Here it is, Lord, tell us when. When shall these things be? And what specifically? Lord, we want to know down to the most minute detail, what shall be the sign, the road sign along the prophetic road to let us know where we are and how close we are to your coming, when you're going to come and right every wrong and set everything in order at the end or the closure or the wrap up of this current age. Now, that's a lot on this verse, but that is specifically what they were asking. And so when we come to Matthew 24, verse 3, specifically they asked for one sign. One sign. What shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world? But in Matthew chapter 24, Mark chapter 13, and Luke chapter 21, Jesus gives them a list of more than 20 signs. They asked for one, but that's what happens when you get alone privately with the Lord. You ask him one question, he'll answer your one question, and he'll tell you many other things as well. That's why you need to spend time privately with Jesus.
And you know what? I just happen to have Matthew 24 in video form, guys. Listen to this. I don't know how long it is. I don't think it's that long. But listen to Matthew 24. Listen to what it says. Because I don't think he doesn't necessarily go into it today. But let's do this. Let's play this.
As Jesus was leaving the temple grounds, his disciples pointed out to him the various temple buildings. But he responded, "Do you see all these buildings? I tell you the truth. They will be completely demolished. Not one stone will be left on top of another." Later, Jesus sat on the Mount of Olives. His disciples came to him privately and said, "Tell us, when will all this happen? What sign will signal your return and the end of the world?" Jesus told them, "Don't let anyone mislead you. For many will come in my name claiming I am the Messiah. They will deceive many, and you will hear of wars and threats of wars, but don't panic. Yes, these things must take place, but the end won't follow immediately. Nation will go to war against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. There will be famines and earthquakes in many parts of the world, but all this is only the first of the birth pains, with more to come. Then you will be arrested, persecuted, and killed. You will be hated all over the world because you are my followers, and many will turn away from me and betray and hate each other. And many false prophets will appear and will deceive many people. Sin will be rampant everywhere, and the love of many will grow cold. But the one who endures to the end will be saved, and the good news about the kingdom will be preached throughout the whole world, so that all nations will hear it. And then the end will come. The day is coming when you will see what Daniel the prophet spoke about, the sacrilegious object that causes desecration standing in the holy place. Reader, pay attention. Then those in Judea must flee to the hills. A person out on the deck of a roof must not go down into the house to pack. A person out in the field must not return even to get a coat. How terrible it will be for pregnant women and for nursing mothers in those days. And pray that your flight will not be in winter or on the Sabbath, for there will be greater anguish than at any time since the world began, and it will never be so great again. In fact, unless that time of calamity is shortened, not a single person will survive, but it will be shortened for the sake of God's chosen ones. Then if anyone tells you, "Look, here is the Messiah," or "There he is," don't believe it. For false messiahs and false prophets will rise up and perform great signs and wonders, so as to deceive, if possible, even God's chosen ones. See, I have warned you about this ahead of time. So if someone tells you, "Look, the Messiah is out in the desert," don't bother to go and look, or "Look, he is hiding here," don't believe it. For as the lightning flashes in the east and shines to the west, so it will be when the Son of Man comes. Just as the gathering of vultures shows there is a carcass nearby, so these signs indicate that the end is near. Immediately after the anguish of those days, the sun will be darkened, the moon will give no light, the stars will fall from the sky, and the powers in the heavens will be shaken. And then at last, the sign that the Son of Man is coming will appear in the heavens, and there will be deep mourning among all the peoples of the earth. And they will see the Son of Man coming on the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. And he will send out his angels with the mighty blast of a trumpet, and they will gather his chosen ones from all over the world, from the farthest ends of the earth and heaven. learn a lesson from the fig tree. When its branches bud and its leaves begin to sprout, you know that summer is near. In the same way, when you see all these things, you can know his return is very near. Right at the door. I tell you the truth, this generation will not pass from the scene until all these things take place. Heaven and earth will disappear, but my words will never disappear. However, no one knows the day or hour when these things will happen. Not even the angels in heaven or the Son himself. Only the Father knows. Like it was in Noah's day, in those days before the flood. The people were enjoying banquets and parties and weddings right up to the time Noah entered his boat. People didn't realize what was going to happen until the flood came and swept them all away. That is the way it will be when the Son of Man comes. Two men will be working together in the field, the other left. Two women will be grinding flour at the mill, will be taken, the other left. So you, too, must keep watch. For you don't know what day your Lord is coming. Understand this? If a homeowner knew exactly when a burglar was coming, he would keep watch and not permit his house to be broken into. Also must be ready all the time, for the Son of Man will come when least expected. Faithful, sensible servant is one to whom the master can give the responsibility of managing his other household servants and feeding them. If the master returns and finds that the servant has done a good job, there will be a reward. I tell you the truth. The master will put that servant in charge of all he owns. But what if the servant is evil and thinks, my master won't be back for a while, and he begins beating the other servants, partying and getting drunk? The master will return unannounced and unexpected, and he will cut the servant to pieces and assign him a place with the hypocrites. In that place there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth.
I'm okay. Actually, now I got a cough. So, you guys, I hope that Father God is like giving you some wisdom and knowledge and understanding about circumstance, like about how we as Christians probably we need to start dealing with this. If you are a Christian, hey, you know what? I am so unashamed of being a Christian. I don't care. If you don't like it, then bye. But don't go. Don't go. Please don't go. Jesus wants you. He wants your help. He needs you. He wants you. He didn't die on a cross for nothing. Come on, get some reciprocation here. He's looking for it. Come on, guys. Just know, he loved us so much. He left us some word. I tried to show you a little bit tonight about how I feel like God has put it on my heart to share with you about what I'm seeing in Minnesota and how we aren't supposed to just take it lying down. There are invaders in this country and in our state. And I want to point out, well, it's true, Ty. There's one more thing I wanted to share with you. Let me see if I can find it. Let's finish a little bit more with Rick Renner because he's almost done with his message. I'm not going to play the ending part of it. So it's just a few more minutes. Let's do that. And then what I'm going to pull up to kind of close things out and just kind of round it all out is something I think that will help put things into total perspective. All right, so let's finish this.
But when we read these three Gospels, Matthew 24, Mark 13, and Luke chapter 21, Jesus gives us the following signs to let us know that we're coming very, very close to the close of the age. First, worldwide deception. That is Matthew 24, verse 4. Deception in the church. That is Matthew 24, verse 5. Wars. Matthew 24, verse 6. Rumors of wars. Matthew 24, verse 6. Commotions. Luke 21, verse 9. Terrorism. Luke 21, verse 9. Warring political systems. Matthew 24, verse 7. The clash of culture. Matthew 24, 7. Ethnic conflicts. Matthew 24, 7. Famines. Matthew 24, 7. Economic instability. Matthew 24, 7. Pestilences. Matthew 24, 7. Unknown diseases. Matthew 24, 7. Great seismic activity. Also, Matthew 24, verse 7. Widespread persecution of believers. Matthew 24, verse 9. The legal prosecution of Christians. Matthew 24, 9. The imprisonment of believers. Matthew 24, 9. The emergence of false prophets. Matthew 24, 11. The love of many waxing cold. Matthew 24, 12. Fearful sights. That's Luke 21, 11. Signs from the heavens. That's Luke 21, 11. And finally, the worldwide preaching of the gospel, Matthew 24, verse 14.
Listen, my beloveds, I'm telling you, that is why you are sitting here listening to the sound of my voice right now. Worldwide preaching of the gospel. I just played for you Matthew 24, the full chapter. It's some good stuff. Okay, guys? Listen, I am determined to just show and teach as many as I can before Jesus returns. I know you think I might be crazy. I don't really care. It's okay. I don't mind. I'm willing. And being a willing vessel kind of gives me a little bit power, motherfuckers. Sorry, I don't mean to swear, but honestly, words are just words. But if I mean it in like a blasphemous, vulgar way, it's intent too. God searches the hearts of all men, and he knows who's his, and he knows you're his. And so it gets super exciting from this point on, you guys. I want to play for you one last thing. I think he's pretty close to being done. We're going to just go. I think there's, let me see. Yeah, right up to here. And he closes out with all this other stuff. But we are going to continue this series in the days to come because it's super important. Sunday, maybe we'll go over just a few of them. We'll stream this Sunday. Why not? Let's do it. And not that I'm going to have any extra videos. I can't promise that. I do have more of my painting. I'm not showing you because it's totally secret right now. But I think that the next portion will kind of help put things into perspective and help to show you that on earth, what's been happening and what Christ was trying to tell us over, or what God, Yahweh, was trying to tell us over and over in the Bible, Old Testament and New Testament, is that this stuff is cyclical. We are experiencing the end of an age, and we should know what to expect. Right now, I believe right now we are in a season of years of plenty. So save right now, because there will be famine. Save right now, at least for the next, I'm saying 3.5 years, right? I don't know what's going to happen in 3.5 years from now. I don't know. But I do know that it will be significant, because 3.5 years from now, there will be another election. And if this is the beginning of the birth pangs, or if this is the beginning of it, we might want to be mindful of it. Always prepare as if it is the 3.5 years before the tribulation. Always prepare that way. Always be prepared. Put on the full armor of God. Put on your helmet of salvation. Shod your feet with the gospel. Like, it actually says in Matthew 5:9, blessed are the peacemakers. And it goes on to say about how it is blessed the feet of those who carry the gospel, or carry the word to other people. Don't you want to be blessed? I mean, why not? It's an easy way for you to get an extra crown in heaven. You know what I mean? If you don't know what a crown is in heaven, we'll discuss that later. We ain't got time for that right now. Time is of the essence, okay? So let's go to finish this, a few more minutes of this, and then I want to switch up. We're going to probably end with the Wars of the Jews. It's the last part, and it's going to tie into what today's time is looking like, because it's what Jerusalem looked like when it fell. And I want you to make the associations between what's happening in Minnesota and in Minneapolis to what's happened when after Jesus, and how Jerusalem fell. It's about 70 AD. And so we'll explore that in just a little bit. Let's finish up with Rick Renner real quick.
So they said, Lord, what is the sign? And Jesus gave them, number one, what is the most important sign that we've come to the end of the age? We're going to be seeing that in the next program. But in addition, Jesus gave us all of these other signs. Now, in Matthew 24, verse 36, Jesus said, but of that day and hour knoweth no man, no, not the angels of heaven, but my Father. And my friends, that means we're wasting our time when we set dates to declare when the rapture of the church is going to take place. And when people set dates, my friends, it causes people to doubt the whole subject of the rapture of the church. If Jesus did not know the date, and if the angels of heaven don't know the date, then who are we to think we can find the date? But that doesn't mean that we can't know the season. And if we will listen to the Holy Spirit, he will alert us to where we are in time. In fact, in John 16, verse 13, Jesus said this about the prophetic ministry of the Holy Spirit. Howbeit, when he, the Spirit of truth, is come, he will guide you into all the truth. The word guide is the Greek word hodega. Hodega, actually hodegas. And this is actually from the Greek word hodas, which is the Greek word for a road. It's the Greek word for a road. But when this word hodas becomes hodegas, It's no longer a road, but it is a person who is a tour guide or a road guide. And now Jesus says the Holy Spirit wants to be your guide. Just like you would hire a professional guide to take you on an excursion or a tour, the Holy Spirit knows everything in front of you. He knows everything that's going to happen eschatologically in the future. And if you will allow him, he'll show you where to go, where not to go. He'll show you what's going to happen next. He will alert you as to what's going to happen. That's what Jesus said. That is the
He will alert you to the doors and windows. God opens up windows in heaven and pours out blessings upon us. And this is a big thing because all of these things that I'm like painting, that I'm like painting right now, this stuff, all of that stuff, those are windows in heaven, doorways. It is what it is. Oh, wait, let me cover that stuff up. You don't need to see all that stuff. I gotta fix it. Now you made me break it. Just kidding. Okay, let's finish this. Sorry, I can't help it. It's just so exciting, you guys. And I'm so glad that you get to share it with me. It's exciting. We are warriors. We're heaven's army. That's who we are. Know who you are in Christ. You're part of heaven's army. You are a warrior. Oh my gosh, I get so excited about this. Oh, geez, you guys.
wonderful ministry of the Holy Spirit. And then Jesus went on to say at the end of the verse that he shall speak and he will show you things to come. And the word show is the Greek word anangelo, which means to declare, to make clear, to clearly, vividly portray, or even to rehearse. The first part of the word anangel is the word an. It means to do it again and again and again. And here we find that if we will listen to the Holy Spirit, like our road guide, he'll show us where to go, and he will tell us, he will declare to us over and over and over and over. The King James Version says things to come. The Greek actually says the things that are coming. Well, we may not be able to pinpoint a date, but if we will listen to the Holy Spirit and allow him to be our guide, he will quicken to us what's happening really around us. Many times we just see what's happening in the news, but if we will listen to the Spirit of God, he'll quicken to us what's happening behind the scenes and how all these events fit together as we come to the very wrap up of this current age. So the question has been asked, how close are we to the end? Well, today we just got started answering that question, and we're going to be back tomorrow, and we're going to pick up right here. But I'll be back in just a moment, and I want to pray for you.
So you guys totally go and check out. You want to listen to the rest of Rick Renner. You know what? Hold on. I'm going to put the link inside the chat so that you have it. If you want to skip ahead and listen to the rest of his stuff, go ahead, enjoy it, because you know what? That's just the Lord prompting. Or if you want to wait for me to present it to you, I'm okay with that too. Whatever. Baby steps, man. Baby steps, guys. Okay, hold on. Let me get this inside here. I'll put it inside here. That is where you can find the rest of that video. And if you go to his actual, like if you click on his Runner Ministries icon, you can go to his playlists and you will find the whole series. He's got videos 1 through 8 already done. So don't think that you need to wait for me. If you are being fed spiritually by that, go check it out, man. Don't wait for me. You don't need to wait for me. You do not need to wait for me. Don't let me slow you down. Okay? Some people are just more advanced. Okay, listen, hold on a second. I'm trying to get my stuff together, guys. So this is, we're going to change this to the Wars of the Jews. This is a disturbing, it even says it here, a disturbing account of prophecy fulfilled. And it's by Christopher Glenn. He does, this channel does a lot of really good books, historical in nature. I've listened to this person for years. are I think it's AI generated mostly, but they do pretty good. Even if there's a mistake, they will go back and fix it later. So just know that he's a good source if you want to listen to some good stuff. Always use caution whenever you're listening to anything outside scripture and try to associate that with scripture. Make sure everything aligns with what God's word says. And if that's where you're at in your mind, like, we could go get the Bible. Well, you can't. And so you need to understand every perspective. This is Josephus. He lived during the time of Jesus, and he was able to see the wars that happened during that time. So what he's going to start talking about, this is actually going to start, I believe, in book 6 of the Wars of the Jews. I think there's 7 books. Don't quote me on that. We can look that up. I'll look it up here in a second. And stop the video just to share that with you. But this is obviously it says it's 4 hours. We're not listening to that. I will give you the link in the chat so that you have that. Let me put that in here. I'll put it here, and I gotta throw it in. Rumble's different for some reason. So there it is. It's inside there. So you guys have that. Should you want to listen to more? I listen to stuff like this when I go to sleep at night because I really truly believe that we still hear and absorb when we're sleeping. So I do like to listen to it. I get a little further each time. So let's do that. I think you'll like this because it explains a lot, and you'll be surprised at how many similarities there are to this according to what's going on or what is potential to happen in the near future should we continue to allow people to just randomly roam into our cities. It's really scary, actually. When you hear this, you'll be like, oh dang. And if you're from Minnesota, you're going to see similarities of what's happening here, and it's scary. Because you also see the similarities of what happens all around the world in all big cities when stuff like this happens. This is what happens in there. And Josephus tries to warn us about what happens when too many groups come together in one city. That's why we naturally self-segregate in a way. It sounds really weird to say. Golly, that really does sound weird to say, but I don't mean it in a bad way. So just remember that. Okay, so here you go. Let's check it out.
The year was 70 AD, and the world would never be the same. Jerusalem, the city of God, under siege, the Roman legions closed in, and within its walls, chaos reigned. Inside, famine devoured the people. Outside, the legions of Rome prepared for slaughter. And the words of Christ came to pass, not one stone shall be left upon another. Josephus was there. He saw it all. He wrote so the world would never forget. This is the eyewitness account of prophecy fulfilled. This is the Wars of the Jews.
I kind of feel like I'm supposed to. I realize I don't have my camera on. Hold on a second. So I kind of feel like I need to give you a little information here. I mean, I already said that Josephus lived during this time of Jesus and during the time where Jerusalem fell. And he gives a really good account, and he tries to tell you, look, take my word for it. Do it or don't, but this is what I'm seeing. This is how I perceive it. I'm an historian. He goes on to, I guess I don't know about if he puts the preface portion in here, but at the beginning of the actual book, The Wars of the Jews, beginning before chapter 1, which this isn't part of, he talks about why he documents this. So if you're really super curious, definitely go and check out the rest of the books of the Wars of the Jews, because it's very important to what common era history really believes, because he was a Jew, however, and a scribe, like a historian. He was one of the person that knew languages, different languages, and knew how to write the languages, because not everybody back in that era knew how to read and write. And that's where we are having a problem in America, where people aren't learning how to read and write. And so it's becoming detrimental. It affects the cognitive abilities. And so we need to make sure that we continue as a first world nation to make sure our children know how to read and write in sometimes more than one language. That's why most junior highs and high schools always offer a secondary language as a part of their curriculum, because they know how important it is to be able to communicate with other people in languages. Latin, Greek, these are the kinds of languages that people should really seek out. It's very interesting. If you go into the history of language, you would, you know what, you guys, I'm getting way far ahead of myself. Let's finish this portion. I hope you enjoy this. And I might put it on like 1.5 speed if I feel like it's too slow. Okay, let's listen to a little bit of it though before we go.
The Siege of Jerusalem by Flavius Josephus. From The Wars of the Jews, Book 5 and 6. Read by Christopher Glenn. Book 5. Chapter 1. Concerning the seditions at Jerusalem and what terrible miseries afflicted the city by their means. When therefore Titus had marched over that desert which lies between Egypt and Syria, in the manner forementioned, he came to Caesarea, having resolved to set his forces in order at that place, before he began the war. Nay, indeed, while he was assisting his father at Alexandria in settling that government which had been newly conferred upon them by God, it so happened that the sedition at Jerusalem was revived, and parted into 3 factions, and that one faction fought against the other, which partition in such evil cases may be said to be a good thing, and the effect of divine justice. Now as to the attack the zealots made upon the people, and which I esteem the beginning of the city's destruction, it hath been already explained after an accurate manner, as also whence it arose, and to how great a mischief it was increased. But for the present sedition, one should not mistake if he called it a sedition begotten by another sedition, and to be like a wild beast grown mad, which, for want of food from abroad, fell now upon eating its own flesh. For Eleazar, the son of Simon, who made the first separation of the zealots from the people, and made them...
Wait a second. Did he literally just say, hold on. Did he just say, go back. Did I hear that right? What terrible miseries afflicted the city by their means. And it starts off with concerning the seditions at Jerusalem and what terrible miseries afflicted the city by their means. Wow. This is Minneapolis.
Chapter 1. Concerning the seditions at Jerusalem and what terrible miseries afflicted the city by their means.
They chose all of it.
When therefore Titus had marched over that desert which lies between Egypt and Syria, in the manner forementioned, he came to Caesarea, having resolved to set his forces in order at that place, before he began the war. Nay, indeed, while he was assisting his father at Alexandria in settling that government which had been newly conferred upon them by God, it so happened that the sedition at Jerusalem was revived and parted into 3 factions. And that
Hey, so do you know what sedition means? Let it it means basically that it's like a war within itself. Is let me pull that up because I want to be clear about what this stuff really means. And so here we go. So I'm gonna see if I can make it bigger. Sedition is speech or action intended to incite rebellion, discontent, or violence against a government or established authority. Now, when I say this is Minneapolis, this is Minneapolis. Do you see what I'm saying? Do you get how I'm saying it? Sedition is speech or action intended to incite rebellion. That's what that Jacob Frey did when he was like, fuck ICE. Remember that? Just a couple days ago. Discontent or violence against a government or established authority. They're fighting the state government. The president of Minnesota. That's who our governor is technically. A governor of any state is the president of that state, okay? And so what happens is that president doesn't agree with the federal government, the federal president, with President Trump, whoever's at the helm there. They don't agree. And I can probably say, we don't agree. We just don't agree. Falling short of treason, but criminalizing acts like publishing false, scandalous, or malicious writing against the state as defined in early U.S. laws like Sedition Act of 1798. And we're going to look at that. We may as well. We're here, man. We need to understand what's really happening, you guys, because they think we're fools because we don't know. And so that means that we need to pay a little bit more attention to what's happening around us. They already had this happen. It's cyclical. It happens. It comes around, and comes around again. So that if we miss it the first time, we hopefully get it the second time. If not, there's a third time. It will come back until we get it and fix it. And so that's what we're trying to do here now. The Sedition Act, historically used to suppress dissent. Historically used to suppress dissent. Sedition laws aim to prevent overthrow of government, but clash with free speech rights, making prosecution difficult in democracies, where it's now often limited to incitement of eminent lawless action, as seen with its resurgence and critique as a tool to stifle debate. Let all of that sink in, you guys. The Sedition Act of 1798. An unpopular president, John Adams, faced increased scrutiny over the sign of the Sedition. Over the sign of the Sedition Act. In one of the first tests of freedom of speech, the House passed the Sedition Act, permitting the deportation, fine, or imprisonment of anyone deemed a threat or publishing false, scandalous, or malicious writing against the government of the United States. Did you know that? We don't know this, and we perish for our lack of knowledge. So we need to know these things. The Fifth Congress, 1797 to 1799, narrowly divided between the majority Federalists and the minority Jeffersonian Republicans, voted 44 to 41 in favor of the Senate passed bill. Federalists championed the legislation fearing impending war with France and out of desire to hold the majority in Congress. This is so stupid. Let the chips fall where they are, and please, representatives of your Senate districts and congressional districts, do what your people want, not what you want. I know people go into these positions to do what they want, or to do what they think the neighborhood wants or their community wants, but they end up doing what they want. It becomes a selfish endeavor, and what happens is corruption. And you don't want to get there. You don't want to be there. That's the furthest place on earth that you want to be, because when you start entering into that, you start giving away your salvation. You start compromising yourself for clout, status, basically the things of earth, not the things of God. Your job on earth as a human being is to maintain your integrity in all things all the time, and not to compromise. And sometimes it's a hard thing. It's a hard pill to swallow. It really, truly is a hard pill to swallow for a lot of people. But you have to do it. If you don't do that, if you don't, we all suffer. Even the rich suffer. They have a lot on their minds when they have so many people depending on them. Do you understand that? Do you understand that rich people they don't have the same cares as we do. We're worried about do we have enough for a sack of potatoes? I mean, is it going to be beans and tortillas for the next 2 weeks until I get paid? They don't have that, but do I have enough to make sure for the next week, to make sure that all those people that I employ have, at minimum, beans and tortillas? That's what the weight is on their shoulders. They feel like they know. A lot of them do know. Some of them are just demons, and some of them are truly have a heart for people. And so we can't dismiss all of that when we start looking at this, because we can go back as far as President John Adams, who faced increased scrutiny over the signing of the Sedition Act. So let's continue on with what that Sedition Act of 1798 actually is. Federalists championed the legislation fearing impending war with France and out of the desire to hold the majority in Congress and to retain the White House, then occupied by Federalist John Adams, in an era where newspapers served as a political party's chief organs. Even back in the 1700s, they knew they would be manipulated. All things are manipulated by newspapers serving as political, you know what? How do I want to say it? There's a different way to say this. Not NGO, but basically they've been self-serving since the 1700s, you guys. Since Since when the United States of America came into being, it's part of the reason America became America, is because of things like this. Because of the things that caused the revolution. We cannot allow this propaganda to keep going. We have to rely on our faith because we are a Christian nation. And if you're in the sound of my voice and you're hearing this not only for the first time, but you're hearing it and it's touching you, it means that you are part of the solution. It means that you are somebody who needs to act, knowing and being able to boldly profess your faith to other people and showing them that this nation was created on Christian principles. And that's what we're going to follow. And that, unfortunately, for some people means that we don't allow thieves to just come roam into our homes. If we know a robber's there, we prepare. So you have to respect that. Now, if you're here and you're here illegally, my recommendation is just go. And that way you have an opportunity to come back legally. If you don't, you know what? If you trust Jesus, if you really are a Christian and you're here as an illegal, you need to trust God. If you don't trust God, then who are you? Then who are you? Who are you? You don't even trust God to bring you back and to cleanse you? I'm telling you, abandoned wives of Islam. I'm telling you, call out to Jesus. He is your Redeemer. There, I said it. Let's continue. You guys, I'm on it. I'm trying to be obedient. Okay, so in the 5th Congress in 1797 through 1799, narrowly divided between the majority Federalists and the minority Jeffersonian Republicans, voted 44 to 41 in favor of the Senate-passed bill. Federalists championed the legislation, fearing impending war with France and out of the desire to hold a majority in Congress and to retain the White House, then occupied by Federalist John Adams, in an era when newspapers served as political parties' chief organs, and the Republican press was particularly vicious in its attacks on Federalists and Adams' administration. Liberty of the press and of opinion is calculated to destroy all confidence between man and man, noted one of the bill's supporters, John Allen of Connecticut. I actually have never heard of that. It leads to the dissolution of every bond of union. Republicans defend the First Amendment protecting free speech and free press. What will be the situation of the people? James Madison of Virginia demanded. Not free, because they will be compelled to make their election between competitors whose pretensions they are not permitted to act equally to examine. So are they saying that? Interesting. You see what they're saying? Even in our own documents, it's like God is speaking to us if we slow down and read the actual words. To discuss and to ascertain. Signed into law by Adams on July 14th, the law proved immensely unpopular with the public, and the president lost re-election to Thomas Jefferson in 1800. Under the incoming Republican administration, the Sedition Act eventually expired in 1801, March 3rd, 1801. However, arguments made for and against it shaped subsequent debate about constitutional protections of free speech. You can have the free speech all day long, but you know what? Liberty of the press and of opinion. Note the words that they use. Liberty of the press and of opinion is calculated to destroy all confidence between man and man. It's basically supposed to keep us at odds with each other. And this was written back in 1798. Apparently it expired in 1801, but maybe there's more. I haven't looked it up yet. But it's interesting that it was already talked about just a few years after our original Declaration of Independence in 1776. I think that part of that, how do I want to say this? Hold on. I think that part of the first couple decades of our country's existence as the United States of America should be looked at, because they were still fine-tuning everything for America. And so we need to look at it through those lenses, through the lens of a fresh, a new democracy, a new republic, I guess you could say, a new world. We were the new world. And so people might be behind the times on that, but we were the new world. They knew all this stuff back then. They knew business. They knew how to advertise. They knew how to manipulate the masses. They already knew this in 1798. Are you kidding me? They knew this stuff. What makes you think that you're the first to ever understand that? You're the first generation? No, you ain't. No, you ain't. No. And so we need to come to grips with that. It's already written. We just don't pay enough attention. Did you read this before? Nah, I don't think so. Most people haven't. And that's where our problem is. We perish from a lack of knowledge. Right now, we have an opportunity with AI and with the internet and all that stuff to learn. And I highly recommend to all, you know what? I'm talking to my Gen X loves, all you guys, get your asses out there, read your fucking shit. Remember the card catalog? Well, you don't need that shit no more. What you need is to rely on what everything it is that the Lord has taught you up until this point in your life. And trust God to strengthen you in all of it, because you believe. That's your only prerequisite. That is the only prerequisite, is that you believe in Christ and everything he said. And if you can't even do that, what do you think he said? You unfaithful, you wicked people, you faithless people. He said it in what I was playing earlier. You're faithless. You can't even cast out demons. We can't even get rid of the fraud in Minnesota because we aren't using our senses as Christians. We aren't coming to God and saying, you know what? You know what? God, maybe I need to pray this.
Oh Lord, I have so many enemies, so many are against me, so many are saying God will never rescue him. But you, oh Lord, are a shield around me. You are my glory, the one who holds my head high. I cried out to the Lord, and he answered me from his holy bless your people.
You guys, Mama's got to go to bed. Mama's got to go to bed. All right. So I think, oh, wait, we didn't finish the Wars of the, you know what? Listen, we'll listen to some more of this Wars of the Jews. You guys go and listen to it on your own. The link is in the chat. I'm going to play a little bit more of this because I am going to continue to get ready for bed off camera, but we are going to play this a little bit longer and enjoy it and learn it and hear it and try to understand what Josephus, he was a historian, he was a Gentile, but what? No, he wasn't a Gentile. He was actually a Jew, but he lived amongst the Gentiles. And he was a scribe of the time, a historian of the time, and he lived during Jesus's time, and this is what he observed.
That one faction fought against the other, which partition in such evil cases may be said to be a good thing, and the effect of divine justice. Now as to the attack the zealots made upon the people, and which I esteem the beginning of the city's destruction, it hath been already explained after an accurate manner, as also whence it arose, and to how great a mischief it was increased. But for the present sedition, one should not mistake if he called it a sedition begotten by another sedition, and to be like a wild beast grown mad, which for want of food from abroad fell now upon eating its own flesh. For Eleazar, the son of Simon, who made the first separation of the zealots from the people and made them retire into the temple, appeared very angry at John's insolent attempts which he made every day upon the people. For this man never left off murdering, but the truth was that he could not bear to submit to a tyrant who set up after him. So he, being desirous of gaining the entire power and dominion to himself, revolted from John, and took to his assistance Judas, the son of Chelcias, and Simon, the son of Ezron, who were among the men of greatest power. There was also with him Hezekiah, the son of Choba, a person of eminence. Each of these were followed by a great many of the zealots. These seized upon the inner court of the temple, and laid their arms upon the holy gates and over the holy fronts of that court. And because they had plenty of provisions, they were of good courage, for there was a great abundance of what was consecrated to sacred uses, and they scrupled not the making use of them. Yet were they afraid on account of their small number, and when they laid up their arms there, they did not stir from the place they were in. Now as to John, what advantage he had above Eleazar in the multitude of his followers, the like disadvantage he had in the situation he was in, since he had enemies over his head, and as he could not make any assault upon them without some terror, so was his anger too great to let them be at rest. Nay, although he suffered more mischief from Eleazar and his party than he could inflict upon them, yet would he not leave off assaulting them, inasmuch that there were continual sallies made one against another, as well as darts thrown at one another, and the temple was defiled everywhere with murders. But now the tyrant Simon, the son of Gioras, whom the people had invited in out of the hopes they had of his assistance in the great distresses they were in, having in his power the upper city and a great part of the lower, did now make more vehement assaults upon John and his party, because they were fought against from above also. Yet was he beneath their situation when he attacked them, as they were beneath the attacks of the others above them, whereby it came to pass that John did both receive and inflict great damage, and that easily, as he was fought against on both sides. And the same advantage that Eleazar and his party had over him, since he was beneath them, the same advantage had he, by his higher situation, over Simon, on which account he easily repelled the attacks that were made from beneath by the weapons thrown from their hands only, but was obliged to repel those that threw their darts from the temple above him by his engines of war. For he had such engines as threw darts and javelins and stones, and that in no small number, by which he did not only defend himself from such as fought against him, but slew moreover of the priests as they were about their sacred ministrations. For notwithstanding these men were mad with all sorts of impiety, yet did they still admit those that desired to offer their sacrifices, although they took care to search the people of their own country beforehand, and both suspected and watched them, while they were not so much afraid of strangers, who, although they'd gotten leave of them, how cruel soever they were, to come into that court, were yet often destroyed by this sedition. For those darts that were thrown by the engines came with that force that they went over all the buildings and reached as far as the altar and the temple itself, and fell upon the priests and those that were about the sacred offices.
Like, seriously, are they like, hold on, like, are they like machine guns? Like, seriously, this is like what I'm wondering here at this point. You guys, I'm getting tired. I gotta go sleep. You guys, I can't. It's so good though. I can't do it. All right, let's do a little more.
Inasmuch that many persons who came thither with great zeal from the ends of the earth to offer sacrifices at this celebrated place, which was esteemed holy by all mankind, fell down before their own sacrifices themselves, and sprinkled that altar which was venerable among all men, both Greeks and barbarians, with their own blood, till the dead bodies of strangers were mingled together with those of their own country, and those of profane persons with those of priests, and the blood of all sorts of dead carcasses stood in lakes in the holy courts themselves. And now, O most wretched city, what misery so great as this didst thou suffer from the Romans when they came to purify thee from thy intestine hatred? For thou couldst no longer be a place fit for God, nor couldst thou long continue in being, after thou hadst been a sepulchre for the bodies of thine own people, and hadst made the holy house itself a burying place in this civil war of thine. Yet mayest thou again grow better, if perchance thou wilt hereafter appease the anger of that God who is the author of thy destruction. But I must restrain myself from these passions by the rules of history, since this is not a proper time for domestical lamentations, but for historical narrations. I therefore return to the operations that follow in this sedition. And now there were 3 treacherous factions in the city, the one parted from the other. Eleazar and his party that kept the sacred firstfruits came against John in their caps. Those that were with John plundered the populace and went out with zeal against Simon. This Simon had his supply of provisions from the city in opposition to the seditious. When therefore John was assaulted on both sides, he made his men turn about, throwing his darts upon those citizens that came up against him from the cloisters he had in his possession, while he opposed those that attacked him from the temple by his engines of war. And if at any time he was freed from those that were above him, which happened frequently from their being drunk and tired, he sallied out with a great number upon Simon and his party. And this he did always in such parts of the city as he could come at, till he set on fire those houses that were full of corn and of all other provisions. The same thing was done by Simon, when, upon the others' retreat, he attacked the city also, as if they had, on purpose, done it to serve the Romans by destroying what the city had laid up against the siege, and by thus cutting off the nerves of their own power. Accordingly, it so came to pass that all the places that were about the temple were burnt down, and were become an intermediate desert space, ready for fighting on both sides of it, and that almost all that corn was burnt, which would have been sufficient for a siege of many years. So they were taken by the means of the famine, which it was impossible that they should have been, unless they had thus prepared the way for it by this procedure. And now, as the city was engaged in a war on all sides from these treacherous crowds of wicked men, the people of the city between them were like a great body torn in pieces. The aged men and women were in such distress by their internal calamities that they wished for the Romans, and earnestly hoped for an external war in order for their delivery from their domestical miseries. The citizens themselves were under a terrible consternation and fear, nor had they any opportunity of taking counsel and of changing their conduct, nor were there any hopes of coming to an agreement with their enemies, nor could such as had a mind flee away, for guards were set at all places, and the heads of the robbers, although they were seditious one against another in other respects, yet did they agree in killing those that were for peace with the Romans, or were suspected of an inclination to desert them as their common enemies. They agreed in nothing but this, to kill those that were innocent. The noise also of those that were fighting was incessant, both by day and by night. But the lamentations of those that mourned exceeded the other. Nor was there ever any occasion for them to leave off their lamentations, because their calamities came perpetually one upon another, although the deep consternation they were in prevented their outward wailing. But being constrained by their fear to conceal their inward passions, they were inwardly tormented without daring to open their lips in groans. Nor was any regard paid to those that
Wow. That is just so wild. Because that's how it is. People don't want to say anything. Just like whatever Waltz was saying, how like he didn't want to say, he didn't want to accuse me or be perceived as biased or racist or whatever. And that's how a lot of people here in Minnesota feel. Oh my God, isn't this something? It's just incredible when you slow it down and really listen to it. It's just crazy, you guys. I'm going to bed. Maybe. All right, a little bit more.
was still alive
rest of
by
this-
their relations, nor was there any care taken of burial for those that were dead. The occasion of both which was this, that everyone despaired of himself, for those that were not among the seditious had no great desires of anything, as expecting for certain that they should very soon be destroyed. But for the seditious themselves, they fought against each other while they trod upon the dead bodies as they lay heaped one upon another, and taking up a mad rage from those dead bodies that were under their feet, became the fiercer thereupon. They, moreover, were still inventing somewhat or other that was pernicious against themselves.
Wow, I can't even. That is just wild the way that it's saying that. And you know what? I'm going to put this link in there one more time so that you guys can listen. I got to go to bed. It is getting late for Gigi. And so hold on, let me share I'm going to copy that and put that in all of the chats. That way you have it. If you want to watch the rest of that or listen to the rest of that, I am actually going to listen to the rest of that. I've listened to this several times over the past few days because it's good information. It's absolutely good information. Aww. Okay, good night. Good night, Fred, Farmer Fred. Thank you for hanging out with me. But you know what? I'm so tired. I have to work tomorrow, so got to go, guys. I hope you enjoyed that. Look for more. Expect more because you're his. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. Bye. Where's my bye? Where's my thing? We'll just play I'll just play my drums. My drums.
Yeah.